Are we live? Does this work? One way to find out. Hey everybody, how's it going? I haven't done one of these live streams in this channel in a really, really, really long time. And so I figured I would do one with a, ask me anything and I'll see what I can answer. So I'm a bit tired. I went on a hike today up a mountain in a park. And yeah, so I'm kind of, I'm a little bit tired, but it was some good exercise and I appreciate getting it. Let's see if the YouTube chat is working. So right now, there is no chat. Nothing here. Here we go. Felix. Hey, Lewis, love the content. Well, thank you for being first, Felix. Usually the people in the chat call themselves first, but here, I'll call you first. You could tell how disheveled my shirt is from the video that I did earlier today, and my head is also shiny since I went for a hike and it's hot out. Zoltan is here. My favorite Tesla stan. I use that as a term of endearment for you. Julian is here. Hello, Julian. We have 3 people. 4 people. Hello, Video Falconry. Hello. Hello, the Chomp. Hello, Wizard. Thank you, a yellow snowman. Also, why is the snowman yellow? That's kind of creepy. Hello, Rapsofasto. Hello, Doft. Hello, Andrew. Hello, Trent. Hello, Asso. Hello, Games5522. Hello, Alex M. By the way, the noise you hear in the bathroom is my very, very loud air conditioner on because there's no way in hell in this weather I'm turning that off to have slightly superior audio. I don't have it in me. Before, when I was doing my other videos, I have no problem turning it off. It's like I climbed up a giant hill. And he just climbed up a giant chair. That was a fun phone call that I got yesterday. So yesterday, I got a really fun phone call from a high-ranking politician in X state. And they actually used the words to describe the tech industry lobbyist. He said bullshit. He's an old dude. He's an old, like mid-late 70s dude. He's been in the game for a long time. He just said, I know that they're on some, and I heard him use those words, they're on some bullshit. That's a dude that I'm happy to have the cell phone number of. I'm honored to have the cell phone number of, and I look forward to following up with him. But I really have a feeling these next 2 years, a lot is going to be changed because a lot more people understand what's going on now. A lot more credible agencies seem to have finally caught up. And a lot of the stuff that I've been saying for the past 6 or 7 years is starting to show up in FTC reports, executive orders. Again, like, does that mean something gets done immediately? No. Does it mean that we're way closer? Absolutely. What's the limit of right to repair? Are companies going to be required to give detailed technical manuals or just make available what they have? What if they don't create anything to repair products? I don't think that if you don't have a schematic that you should have to actually make one for me. So if you don't have to write a manual that doesn't exist. And one thing that I'd really like to make sure with this type of legislation is that it doesn't ask small companies to create that which does not exist. That's important to me. I would not want to be a part of any piece of legislation that would burden smaller companies. How do you keep hope when you can't seem to find any? That's a good question. I was actually discussing that earlier today because there's 2 recent issues in my life where I've lost hope on. So what I do is kind of like this. So let's say that I need to take a trip somewhere, right? And I don't know. Let's say I need my ID to get on a train or a bus or something. Instead of going, oh my god, I need to find my ID. If I don't find my ID, I go. If I find my ID, I go on the trip. If I don't find my ID, I figure out how to make do without going on the trip. If this business succeeds, the idea succeeds. If this business fails, then I will figure out another way to make money. Or if this business succeeds, it succeeds. If it doesn't succeed, I go back to my old job. But not, I have to make this succeed. I have to make this succeed. Why is it not succeeding? Why is it? I try to give myself the 2 choices, and it tends to calm me down when I have lost all hope for something going right. My birthday is tomorrow. Can you say I'm cool? You are cool. Is our on up. Thank goodness we will finally enforce Christianity as our state religion, says Coal Dust. See, I don't know that doesn't seem to be happening in America, but I don't know about where you are. Visiting New York City and seeing all the empty stores. I'm at 34th Street and 6th Avenue. Maybe that'll be why it's a tourist destination at some point in time. Maybe that'll be what makes it a tourist destination. How are you doing? Is all this stuff going on stressed you out? Or are you doing well? Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't stressed out by a lot of the things I'm trying to do. Some of the ideas that I have put forth have gone well. Some have made zero progress whatsoever. And the ones that do, like a lot of my life has just kind of been throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. Whether it is with board repair, whether it's my business, whether it's right to repair advocacy, YouTube, like so much of my life is just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. Anytime I create a plan, or even some semblance of a plan as to how things are going to go, the world just takes that plan and it just shits on it and it laughs at it. And I'm trying to realize that that I can't force things to go according to a plan. And when I try to force things to go according to a plan, that is what makes my hair turn gray. Is it okay if I make videos of bad micro-soldering with a do-it-yourself iron? Zoltan, so long as you say that you're learning and you don't say this is how you do it, make videos on anything that you want to make videos on, and fuck the people who are going to mess with you in the comments. I don't eat ice cream, Red Cocoon. What's your most important tip to stay productive? Make a list. Make a list where what you do is you take your day and you break it up into 5-minute increments. But what you do is you take the subtasks of your task and you break it up. So let's say take a shower, right? What I would do is I'll literally wake up and do this. Wake up, 7. Pee, 7:05. Check phone, 7:10. Get clothes from closet, 7:15. Go to bathroom, 7:20. Take shower, 7:25. Wash hair, 7:30. Dry, 7:35. Shave, 7:40. Dress, 7:45. Get ready, 7:50. Eat, 7:55. 8, do interview. 8:05, leave. 8:10, arrive in parking lot. 8:15, get in car. 8:20, leave car. Drive out. 8:40, get to work. 8:45, check through mail. 8:50, address letter 1. 9 o'clock, address letter 2. 9:10, address letter 3. 9:20, address letter 4. 9:30, call back this person. It really sounds silly, but I actually arrange my day in 5 to 15-minute increments. And if there's any task that I'm procrastinating, I break that task down into all its subtasks, and I'll let that task take a day. Like, really, this works for me. It helps me from procrastinating. So, 9, get up. 9:05, get papers. 9:10, walk to corner. 9:15, walk in a bank. 9:20, wait in bank. 9:30, bring up issue. 9:40, request solution. 9:50, complain when I don't get it. 10, leave bank. It sounds silly, but I actually do structure my day in this way, and it's one of the few things that causes me to keep moving forward when I just want to, just be done with everything. Misimportant call, 631. No, I'm dead serious. I make it that detailed. I detail it down to the smallest possible detail. And the thing is, it's not a routine. What I do is I write my list at the time. So if I realize that I'm starting to fall off into the fray, what I define as the fray is checking my phone, but I don't even know what I'm checking. I'm just going around different apps to see what notifications are in them. Or I'm reading the news. Or I'm petting Mr. Clinton or some shit. The moment I get off into doing whatever the hell, I would require that I open Notepad, not a task management program, because a task management program, you got to figure out how to use it. There's little doohickeys. There's different types of tasks. You have lists versus just a document. Then there's a task, a subtask, a where, a who, a how. Fuck all that. I open up Notepad. Just straight up Notepad, or if I'm on Linux, I'll just use Nano, and then I will literally just write it out line after line after line, copy and paste it to myself on my phone so I have it for later, and I will stick to the list. And what happens when you do that type of list is that you realize just how much time you waste every single day. And there's a lot of time that you waste every single day because you get stuck in the fray and you think you're working. You think you work 8 hours a day. I swear, if you make a list like this, you will realize that you probably do 2 hours of work, if even in an 8-hour day. I get along with Eli. I like Eli. I would consider him a friend, John Williamson. I don't see him every day or anything, but do you think most companies should also return to the old tradition of releasing schematics for products? Just have an easy-to-repair product won't help most. Yeah, I would prefer that. Do you think New York City will recover with new leadership? I don't know. It's not like so. I don't know if it's a leadership problem because a lot of the problems that New York City is having now are problems that have been in the making for 3 or 5 or 8 or 10 or 20 or 40 or 50 years. So it's really easy to have an ideological simplification where you just go, if only you elect this person, everything gets fixed. But in reality, you have a lot of problems here that have been that have, like, a lot of these chickens are coming home to roost now from a long time ago, and there's a lot of like, for instance, a lot of the budget for the city programs comes from property taxes. Like 30 or 40 billion comes from property taxes out of a 70 to 80 billion dollar budget. So a lot of the complaints about high rents and empty buildings come from the fact that the buildings are valued very high. But if the building valuations go down, what happens to city property tax revenue? What happens to those city services? Like, it's New York, it's not so much a leadership thing, so much as, in my opinion, my very uninformed, unqualified, not political person opinion is just, start fresh, start from scratch. Thank you for not giving up on right to repair. Don't plan on it. Glad your business did not close down. Me too. Man, wouldn't that suck to survive COVID just to get screwed over by some schmuck at the DCA? Oh man, that would suck. Did you enjoy your trip to visit to Florida? I didn't. I liked certain elements of Florida. I was somewhat stressed at the time because I was dealing with an insurance company that I didn't know if was going to screw me. Why can't we get big donors to help with the right to repair cause? Because they're cautious. One of them was really open to helping so long as the money was not going to lobbying. And I think that's because, if I'm honest with myself, I'd like to think it was because, they really believe in what I'm doing. But if I'm honest with myself, I think it was one of those, if I give to a 501c3, I don't have to pay taxes kind of thing. Like, I'm just being honest with myself because I wasn't able to get that same person to do that. But it could also be because of their their ideology, which leans very hardcore libertarian, which is, I don't want Lewis to be drafting new laws. But at the same time, if you're watching this channel, then you kind of know what I'm going for. So it's very interesting. Why can't I get big donors? Why can't we get big donors to help with the right to repair cause? I can't say why you can't get big donors. I'm not going to speak for you, nor am I going to speak for others. Why can't I get big donors to help with the right to repair cause? Because I have, in some ways, I'm failed as an advocate. I've gotten a lot of people to understand right to repair as an issue. I've gotten right to repair to, like, that Wozniak troll. I mean, that front page CNN, that front paged everywhere. That was beautiful. There's all I had to do was get in front of him and ask him what he thinks of right to repair. I didn't have to twist his arm. I didn't have to bribe him. I just needed to get through that man's inbox to ask, what do you think of it? That was beautiful. I'm good at getting this stuff in front of people, but what I'm not good at is raising money from incredibly wealthy people. So why do we have large right to repair donors? Because I can't speak for why you don't, because you may have different reasons for why you haven't been able to find them. Because I fail as an advocate in that way. And the reason I say that I fail is if I say I fail, I'm taking accountability for it. If I take accountability and responsibility for it, I'm accepting that there's something I could be doing differently. If I accept that there's something I could be doing differently, then I open myself to things I could be doing differently, which then allows me to change my strategy, and maybe the change in strategy will actually result in finding a larger donor. So I don't know why you haven't, but why I haven't? Because I failed. Hello, Red Cocoon. Hello, Gunner. Hello, Nicole. Misimportant call. Yes, misimportant call. Funny, funny, funny. Why every time the cat blinks, it disappears? No, he's right here. It's just the lighting. Can you pet Mr. Clinton? Thank you. Okay, I'll pet the Clinton. I pet the Clinton. Eli has no charisma. I think Eli's got charisma. I don't have charisma. You know what's funny? I actually used to do these live streams at 10 or 11 o'clock at night when I first started doing board repair live streams. And I had about 30,000 subscribers. And when I had 30,000 subscribers, I would get 600 live viewers if I did a live stream at night. Now I have 1.6 million. 1.6 million. And I have 324 viewers. So I have about half of the people watching now with 1.6 million subscribers that I used to have watching a live stream when I had 30,000. So it's I'm not gonna give Eli any shade over not having charisma. I don't have charisma. Regarding rights for repair, would you be open to extend your car warranty? Clinton. Get him. Claus. Get him, Clinton. Eli's off-putting blatant cynicism is often shockingly spot on. Do you think we're in the end of times? Hardly. We had the actual bubonic plague. We've had wars, famine, floods, volcanoes. This is not even close. Super chat, says Skater Dude. Thank you. Are you still considering moving out of New York? Yes. Yes, I am. This is something that Eric actually encouraged me to make a video on a while back. The manner in which the city can change people. I wanted to do a video where I go over what it feels like. How about this? I wanted to do a video that goes over the benefits of New York, what I find to be the benefits of the city, how this city helped shape my business into what it is, and then also how the city drains you into, like, with the pluses and the minuses, but the honest ones. Will this new legislation allow me to get service manuals for medical equipment? Depends. So there's an agricultural one, there's a medical one, there's a consumer electronics one. So, like, again, if the agricultural right to repair one passes, your medical equipment guys are screwed. If the medical one passes, then maybe. If the the iPhone consumer electronics laptop one passes, then no. Any thoughts on the YouTuber Meet Kevin? He seems like a very well-meaning guy that rationalizes what happened in the market that day along with 99% of the financial reporting, except it's kind of like he's rationalizing the financial reporting that is rationalizing the market. You stared straight through my soul. I did, and screw you and your car's extended warranty. So the thing is, with most financial reporting, I find it to be really bad because it's not explaining to you what is going to happen and why. What it does is it takes what already happened. So let's say this is going on over here, and that's going on over there. What it does is when this happens, it just assumes since this is happening, this happened because of that. And then they report on it 12 hours after the fact, and then they pretend that they actually knew what was going on. That's most of financial reporting. So for instance, yields going up, oil stocks are plummeting. Yields are going up, oil stocks are plummeting. Oil stocks are going up because yields are going down. Oil stocks are going up because yields are going up. Like one day, COVID fears cause oil stocks to plummet. Next day, newfound optimism on COVID virus going to bay causes oil stocks to go up. It's like it really is one of those things where they take something here and then they try. Okay, what else is going on in the world today? Okay, that's going on. Okay, so we're going to tie these two things together and pretend they have anything to do with one another. And it always happens like after the fact. And that's what I find to be so much financial reporting. I think the genuine red pill when it comes to most financial reporting is that 99% of the people doing it have no fucking clue what's going on. At best, they're pretending, even the ones that are very well educated. And the more you read it, the more you'll just lose your mind. Used to watch your videos back when I had a job in electronics. Even though it feels a lifetime ago, I am wrecked your channel and got lost in rights repair. Big fan, wish you luck. Thank you, Buddy Man. So I saw one or two Meet Kevin videos, but it seemed like he's rationalizing of what went on that day, and I don't know. It works for him. He seems like a nice enough guy. What made you consider Miami versus Orlando? I honestly don't really want either of them. Miami, a lot of it is either super expensive, like Wynwood is kind of like Bushwick, but in Miami. Brickell is just expensive and kind of New Yorkish. My actual downtown Miami is a shithole, almost worse than actual New York City. I did a live stream on that. Orlando was very, very kind of Orlando is kind of like a cultural desert. I didn't understand what that meant until I visited. I enjoyed my time in Tampa. I enjoyed my time in Fort Lauderdale, and I do want to visit Palm Beach. Well, you think passing right to repair in the States will affect a puny country like Malaysia? Absolutely. We don't live in a time where a chip can be sold in Massachusetts, but that chip is not going to make its way to California or Malaysia. That's not the way any of this works. Do you think New York City will become Detroit? I have honestly never visited Detroit, and as much as I've heard all this different stuff about it, I really would want to experience it in person. Thoughts on pegging? I personally would prefer to not get pegged. Everybody has their preferences, and it is 2021, and I respect those preferences, and you do you. But I do me. I don't want to get pegged. I don't want to be pegged by Tim Cook. I don't want to get pegged by Elon Musk. I don't want to get pegged by the stock market. Nicole Valerie is picking on me. That's not nice, Nicole. She picks on me a lot. This gentleman has the most comfy stream setup ever. I do, chapter. 1.3 million is a lot. You must be good at repairs. I try. Any of your friends get burnt in crypto scam? I've gotten burned by KuCoin.com. KuCoin is a horrible, 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 horrible site for trading crypto. And if you send something and it doesn't show up, even if it's to the right address, you don't expect you will ever hear back from them. Any advice for someone who wants to build their first electric bike? Go to ebikes.ca, ebikes.ca, also known as Grin, and tell them we sent you, and ask away. Ask as many questions as you want, and if anything on ebikes.ca costs more money than it does on eBay or another website, just fucking give them the money, because the support that they give you and the way they will treat you is worth it. You're going to have problems if you're setting something up for the first time, and you want to deal with people where you can ask questions and you can interface with them and you can get suggestions. And honestly, the way that they do business in a way where I just don't care if they're not the cheapest, and I will recommend them to everybody that I ever meet. I'd pay good money to see Louis Theroux visit Detroit. Who's Theroux? I also really, really enjoy their Phase Runner controller. Louis, your videos are amazing and genuine. I feel like now with your live stream, I'm meeting you face to face. An amazing leader and aspire to be like you. I don't think I'm that amazing a leader, Ben Hickley, but I very much appreciate it. Thank you. What's your opinion about the COVID vaccine passport? If the idea with the COVID vaccine is that it keeps you from getting hospitalized when you get COVID, then I'm failing to understand why we need to have a COVID passport to make sure that other people have the vaccine. And if you're not vaccinated, I'm not mad at you. It's just if you die, it's like, it's been available free to you, not free in terms of taxes. I know that. Thank you, Louis. Your videos have been enormously helpful. You have a great radio voice. Have you considered doing voiceover work? No, I can't do voiceover work. I don't think I have a great voice. I don't see the. If you want to get a COVID vaccine, get your COVID vaccine. I personally got it, but if you don't get it and you die, it's like, I don't really care. You made your choice. Whatever. Like, again, it's just like no hard feelings, no nothing. It's just freedom for you, freedom for me. You do you, but you live with the responsibility of being you. I have OMP, and I may have an interview with them on Monday. Thank you so much, by the way, if you were the one who set that up. I emailed The Hill a bunch of times, and I never heard back, but they're not at The Hill anymore, so I guess that doesn't even really matter. And I look forward to being on their show. What is a hobby of yours you don't speak about or show much? I used to like high-end audio, but I haven't really made time for it. Like Vandersteen speakers and TLCS 3.6s and refurbishing that kind of old audio equipment, but I don't make any time for it anymore. How'd you come up with the kiddies' names? I named Mr. Clinton because when I got him, he was a rapist. So Mr. Clinton was running around the room humping stuffed animals, but they had to put him in his own room because before they put him in his own room, he was pissing off all the other cats and trying to mount them and rape them even when they didn't want to be raped. So I named him after the last Democratic president that we had at the time that I got him. And Blackberry, she doesn't meow. She just goes... and she does it in quick succession. She goes... So I named her Blackberry. Because she's black in color, she's cute like a berry, and she makes the ringtone that you get from Blackberry. How'd you like the Florida visit? I enjoyed it. I am behind by 6 minutes. What is your monthly rent/mortgage? At the store, $12,500. And they are not happy that I ain't giving them the whole thing. We're waiting to see how business comes back in the city. So one of the things that I moved here to do is A, solicit more business. You're awesome because you point out the criminal scams regarding commercial and residential rents. Dude, anybody could do that with a camera, man. It's not me. It's not me. Like, what I do is, Steven, I appreciate it. Thank you. But I go to LoopNet and I show you the amount of money that they're asking. I walk into the place with a little measurer and I take my camcorder and I walk around with it. Like, that's not really being awesome or a hero. That's just, I don't know, being me. So, yeah, I moved to this new place for two reasons. A, to be able to solicit a little bit more business from the schools in the area, which all closed. And B, I wanted to be able to do a class again. So in 2015 through 18, I taught a motherboard repair class. Would you recommend starting electronic computer phone business in NYC this coming year? From your apartment. Don't open a fucking store to do it. Start from your apartment. Build slow. Do house calls where you go to people. Keep your expenses as low as humanly possible. If you keep your expenses low, go for it. Don't be an idiot like me and set up a store. So with my rent, the problem there is I moved here with A, the expectation of soliciting more business from the places in the area that all closed, and B, I wanted to start doing classes again. Do you know about right to repair in Wisconsin? I don't know if there is a bill present in Wisconsin. It's not. I have a document that lists all the numbers and the names. There could be. I just don't remember it, to be honest with you, on the top of my head. There's 4 particular states that I'm hammering right hard right now and trying to get lobbyists for. And after I'm done with one of those states. Once I finish the other 3, I'm going to go on to the rest on the list. But I don't know about Wisconsin at the moment. Where was I? The rent thing. So I was planning on doing classes again because I couldn't do classes after the CBC News piece came out. I couldn't physically fit more people in my store. But I wasn't able to do classes for a year, and all the businesses here closed down. So I essentially doubled my rent from like $5,500 or $5,000 to $12,500, but the city went to shit, and I wasn't allowed to do classes because of COVID. Now we're starting to do classes again, but since I haven't done classes for 3 years, when I put the link up on the website and did the video announcing it, I got 0 signups. So that class is probably dead because I haven't done it for years, and we will see what that means for my future prospects and whether or not I get to stay in this place or not before I get kicked out. What can everyday people do to support right to repair? Thank you. Just caught up on your vids. Contact your local legislator. Go to repair.org. Figure out who's in charge in your state. Contact them. Let them know that you want it. Let people in your life know why this is an issue. And when you see people saying shit that's just not true, you hear them repeating stuff that lobbyists said, just poke them. Say, hey, here's what I think. What do you think? Don't be an asshole and go, you're wrong, because that never gets people to change their mind. Don't go, you're wrong. What you do is you say, are you happier as an employee or employer? That's a long one. I'm happier as an employer, to be honest, because I don't want to work to build someone else's dream when they're not going to listen to me. I have a very specific way of doing things. Sometimes it works out really well. Sometimes it ends in a dumpster fire. But at the end of the day, I know that I'm building my vision, and I want to be building my vision in my way. There are so many people that have told me that my vision, my way is not going to work, and that is what drives me to do things my way. And the fact that I've done things my way, I got 14 employees, 1.6 million subscribers, means I'm happy that I'm happy to be an employer. I would be happy to be an employee if I could work for someone else who had my vision, but most people don't. What are your thoughts on the bank stopping home equity lines of credit? The same thing happened right before the 2008 crash. I'm surprised nobody's talking about it. Seems like a really alarming given the history. I think that that's a totally sensible thing to do, given that we may have gotten a little bit too optimistic on everything. When they say, look at how good the economy is going, I mean, there are still eviction moratoriums in place. There are still people that don't have to pay their rent that can just spend money in the economy on other stuff because they haven't paid their rent in a year. Let's see how that goes before we start allowing those things to happen again. And you should go on Tim Pool's show at some point. I'm pretty sure that's never going to happen. Again, a lot of you have contacted me and said, can you go on these people's shows? Whether I like the people or I don't like the people on the list, whether I know them or I don't know them, I've contacted just about all of them. And because of the amount of enthusiasm that people in this chat have shown for me to go on Tim Pool's show, I emailed him 3 times. And I emailed his assistant. That was months ago. Haven't heard back. I respect his decision. I am not mad. I am not salty. I respect his decision. He's got shit that he wants to do on his show. He can do his show his way. I take that as this is not a priority to him, and I respect it. So most likely that will never happen. You should get on Viva and Barnes. They're both amazing lawyers who run an amazing live stream show. Send an email with that to contact@fighttorepair.org. That's contact@fighttorepair.org. I'll put it in the chat. And again, when you guys tell me, hey, can you contact this person to go on their show, I usually actually do. And I usually do put a decent effort in. But again, I can't make people, I can't just barge into somebody's show and force myself in there. I need a deck built. Do you do up-to-date contact information for that deck builder you had hired previously? Google Eugene Harrington. I'll put it in the chat. Google Eugene Harrington. What I love is that you have many storefronts and apartments that go empty because the property owner or investor is scared to death have to report them at discount rents. You talked about NDAs. Yes, and I'm surprised that that is even legal. I agree with you, but careful speaking about the jab. They're cracking down on different opinions. I don't know. I don't even know if my opinion is that controversial. I got vaccinated because it made sense. I read all the available shit. The people dying of COVID looked like 0.04% or something. The people who got an adverse effect from the vaccine was like 0.00000 whatever percent. So it just seemed to make sense to get vaccinated. But if you don't get vaccinated, I respect you. I respect your opinion. I respect your right to do what you want with your body. Just don't ask me to not go outside or not eat indoors at restaurants or not visit family members or all that because you didn't get a vaccine. I respect your freedom. You respect mine. Anthony Sabot, I just got into electronic logic design because of you. Thank you for being the person to push me to better myself. That's awesome. By the way, what e-bike kit would you get? I like the BBS HD with a phase runner motor controller. Never use the shitty square wave or whatever crap that the controller they give you. They suck. They use more power. They kill the what is it? It kills the rotor. It winds up cracking and breaking it. California e-bike has a good blog on how it was killing all the old ones. He was saying that it was the material they used, but let's be honest, it's the fact that they were using shitty motor controllers instead of the sine wave ones. You're awesome. Sending this support all you do and all you stand for. Thank you, Frank Rabe. What do you think of apartment real estate in New York City? Urban Digs reports that apartments are selling at record speed, but the prices aren't coming down. Who's buying? I don't know. Investors, rich people that want a vacation home. What's your favorite Dream Theater album and song? Favorite song? Favorite Dream Theater song? Scarred from 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Lie from 5 minutes and 12 seconds. Blind Faith from 7 minutes and 55 seconds. Goodnight Kiss from 4 minutes and 40 seconds. What else? Yes, I do remember the times of all the guitar solos across their discography. And I could do that all day. For all of my favorite music, I can tell you the exact timestamp of where the guitar solo starts in the song. But those are the top ones on my list. Eric M49, thank you. Shout out for Rest in New York. Thanks for encouraging me to go into construction management / real estate. I have no idea how my channel would encourage someone in New York City or New York State to go into construction or real estate. But if you are successful, then that's awesome. What if you get vaccinated and die anyway? If you get vaccinated and die anyway, my heart goes out to you. It really does. Like, I don't want to see people die. If you had to choose one thing to change about NYC, what would it be? Less blighted real estate. If you had to do business in another state, where would you go and why? I haven't done enough exploring yet. I liked Florida, but I haven't spent enough time there to figure out the real feel of Florida, so I don't want to just impulse say Florida. Hello from India. You inspired me to be a chip design engineer. Why don't you go on Joe Rogan podcast? That goes back to the same answer that I gave to the Tim Pool podcast. There are only so many times you can reach out to someone who runs a podcast. Again, I don't want to spam people. It's just rude. I hate when people spam me. I hate when other people have their fan bases spam me with something. It makes my lizard brain automatically not want to listen to you. And I don't particularly want to... I'm just not going to spam someone. I think I've reached out to Joe Rogan's podcast on his website and all that 2 or 3 times, and it's like I'm not going to spam you. You know, it's impolite. Here's a 10 in the tip jar just because I brought a 2338 MacBook so you can have a new mail-in customer coming within a few years because Apple cares price. Thank you, Snay. I'll try to remember that. That's all well and great, but there are people who can't get the vaccine, and when other healthy crybaby snowflakes don't get it, it puts them in danger. I mean, to my knowledge, if you get the vaccine, you can still spread COVID. It's just when you get COVID, it's not going to be as bad. What are your thoughts on Dogecoin and crypto? I think 99% of what's going on in crypto is a giant consensual Ponzi scheme and scam, but people just run with it because of people that have cults of personality, feelings of hopelessness and despair over not being able to get a job in the traditional economy, feelings of hopelessness and despair with regards to the real inflation rate, not the bullshit of CPI, but the real inflation rate. Like you go on Zillow and the house that you were looking at just a few years ago that was 200K is now selling for 450. And I think that has created a giant speculative asset bubble for a lot of people, and I think it's probably going to end really poorly for a lot of them, and I feel bad. BOT Chad funded $10. Independent shear knife sharpener here, and I love how you stand for right to repair, because that ultimately trickles down to us. Repairing salon shears is a tricky business when manufacturers try to come in. I don't know much about salon shears, and I honestly didn't even know that that was something people repaired, but I just learned something. Most of the people dying are part of the experimental vaccination. That sounds like some bullshit, man. That sounds like some bullshit. I'm pretty sure more people have actually died of COVID than from COVID vaccinations. Like, have some people probably died as a result of the COVID vaccine? Sure. But again, when I looked up the percentage rates, it was like 0.0000000 something. What really was weird to me is what I love is you have showed many storefronts, apartments that go empty. I think I repeated that one a while ago. I think that Streamlabs is really slow. I remember answering that 10 minutes ago. People say, why are you a pussy? Why are you afraid of something with a 0.04% death rate? Okay, let's say I accept that premise. Why are you afraid of a vaccine with a 0.0000003% adverse effect rate? Not even death rate. 0.6 or 7 zeros and then a 3 adverse effect rate. It's one of those things that when you turn it around, it doesn't really make sense. It's kind of like when people who are mad at employers that don't pay well say, you know, if you can't afford $20 an hour, you don't deserve to be in business. Like, it doesn't make sense because you could just do this. Okay, if you can't afford a $4,000 a month apartment, you don't deserve to live in Midtown Manhattan. Like, who cares about what people deserve? Like, it's one of those pieces of logic where all you do is you put a mirror in front of it and it fails. Would you consider taking on an investor with over 6 figures of capital to help open a new store? If capital is holding you back, let's talk. Says Criminal Minded. I'm not looking to. I'm honestly, I appreciate it very much. Thank you. I'm not looking to go into debt. I have a weird kind of Dave Ramsey-ish approach to debt, which is avoid it at all costs. I was this close to going into debt. Thank God, by the way. I was telling everybody that I was looking to get a business loan to open this new location, and I didn't, so I opened this new location in the most ghetto way possible. Thank God I did not go into debt to open this new location. If I did, I would be fucked. What's your thoughts on the AMC stock situation? I haven't followed the meme shit in a while, so I'm not sure. Go on Tim Pool / Tim Pool is cringe / Tim Pool is crash / go on the Tim Pool show. This is, okay, so what you're seeing here is the standard scatter pattern anytime someone says you should go on this person's show. Go on Joe Rogan. I love Joe Rogan. Fuck Joe Rogan. Lewis, go on Crystal and Sagar. I love Crystal and Kyle. Fuck Crystal and Kyle. I honestly don't care. Like, all of what you people say about anybody whose show you want me to go on, I fundamentally don't care. There's 1.6 million of you. There's never going to be a consensus among all 1.6 million of you which show I could go on. So what I'm trying to do, before you leave New York City, I'm going to take you to a gay bar. What do you think of that? You're not getting me to do that for $5, man. No, you're not getting me to do that for $5. I've spent enough time in Chelsea, and I've actually walked into enough of them, and I don't really want to walk into it in exchange for money from a stranger. Now, what was I saying? Yeah, when I go on these shows, so to everyone watching, it's your choice if you want to get the vaccine, although I'm concerned the vaccine may be connected to Lewis's hairline. No, that is New York City running a business stress. Or it could be all of Apple's broken boards. I don't care what any of you think about these individual personalities. What my goal is to explain to a new audience that I don't have why they should care about right to repair. I want to push right to repair forward. I don't care who I have to talk to get that done. I would talk to Ron Paul. I would talk to Joe Biden. I would talk to Donald Trump. I would talk to Ron DeSantis. I'd talk to Andrew Cuomo. I'd talk to Mayor de Blasio. I'd talk to Bernie Sanders. I don't care. I don't care about any of your salt, because it's not about me taking a selfie with them and becoming new friends or any of that. It's about getting this issue across to a new group of people that didn't know about it, and then also me learning how to be a better advocate for right to repair, because when I go on those shows, I will then learn of concerns that I didn't know about, and I'll learn how to communicate to that group of people better. So whether or not you personally like any of these people, I honestly don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter. How would you feel if an AI TTS model capable of accurately sounding like your voice was released for use by everyone? I don't know what TTS means. TTS just kind of sounds like tits. Yeah, that just sounds like tits to me. Listen to your channel often and bring up repair with all my friends and family. If you consider setting up shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota. No, I haven't. No, that actually is not even close to being on the list. Thank you very much, though. I'm looking for a place where if something stupid happens, I don't have to put boards on my window and put up a 400-watt bike air horn that I hook to a power supply relay that I power from my phone every time I get an alert that someone's banging on my door or window. Nope. Lived through that here, not doing that again. Again, we're talking about a life where moving forward, we get less gray hairs, not more. And the amount of gray hairs that I grew in June, just no. I made a New Year's resolution. I actually made a New Year's resolution to lead a lower stress lifestyle, and I have not been listening to it at all. Mr. Clinton should have his own YouTube channel. Erica wanted Oreo to have his own YouTube channel, but I'm thinking of giving Clinton his own YouTube channel. It would be nice if you moved your camera above your TV so you can look at us when you read. No, the camera stays there. That would require moving it every single time I do a video. Also, that would mean you get to see the rest of my apartment, and the rest of my apartment's a clusterfuck. You don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Why aren't you into Henry George land value tax yet? Pure anti-monopoly, high rent, and urban blight. Progress and poverty will change your life. Email it to me. You got my email, or leave it as a comment. Email it to me or leave it as a comment. I'll take a look at it. I will take a look at it. Trump 2024. I sincerely doubt that that's going to go anywhere. Tiber septum. He had his chance. He fucked it up. Is what it is. Please keep cats away from audio interface. XLR cable keeps moving. Makes massive static popping noise. Does it? Huh. Is there noise? You're awesome. Send this support you and all that you stand for. Thank you. What do you think of apartment real estate? Urban Digs reports that apartments are so... Okay, I read that one already. I'm a little behind here. Pink shirt is an alpha move. Thank you. I'm behind by 15 minutes. Ever skinny dipped? No. Ever considered bringing into the classroom so students can learn more about tech? I do. YouTube.com/Rossmann Group. Just nobody watches that stuff. People freaking out about people dying from the vaccine is like people freaking out from deaths caused by wearing a seatbelt in a car. JP, that is poetic, and that's pretty much exactly how I would put it. Yes. I'm going to get a lot of shit for agreeing with you, but I 100% agree with you. What was the comment I just read? I read something, and then I forgot what I read. Oh, yeah, the classroom. So I've done tons of videos on board repair, what is a transistor, how to diagnose a circuit, all that kind of stuff. Nobody watches them. Nobody cares. I continue to do them. To this day, I still edit them. I have a new one to edit to upload tomorrow, but nobody will watch it. You'll see. Like, I still make them. It's just virtually nobody watches them. Are you excited about the Stream Deck? Basically a Nintendo Switch, but a full PC and a handheld. I have a Stream Deck, but it's not a PC and a handheld. It's just a thingy that it's like a keyboard. It's a fancy keyboard, the Stream Deck that I have. I honestly don't even use it at home. I use it at work, but at home I just use my function keys and my escape key. Where's your feline overlord? He ran away. Is it true that you're rich now, or are people wrong? Define rich. You would have to define rich. Does it frustrate you that a lot of tech YouTubers haven't made videos on right to repair? Not really. People do videos on what they want to do. I don't push them. you can't push people to talk about a topic or care about a topic, because what that does is it creates a culture war like backlash. And if you look at how people deal with virtually every other political or social issue nowadays, you'll see how that creates culture war like backlashes, and why I don't do any of that. Why I don't express that. You have to be very careful. Do you ever work with fuck? Okay, that I finally fell off the treadmill. I gotta find that shit. If you weren't a business owner and were doing computer repair, what would you be doing? I wanted to be a therapist, and then after that, I wanted to be a recording engineer, and then I started doing this. So I'd probably be a therapist, but I'd be a freaking horrible therapist. I just missed the last message. That was kind of screwed up of me. I gotta find it, but if I find it, I will go off the treadmill. No, you can't fall off the treadmill. Shit. Wants me to verify myself to log in? Really? Yes. Do you like dill pickles or sweet pickles? I don't like any pickles. I'm not a pickle person. I have a funny story about pickles, but I can't tell it because I have to find this damn message, and I'm going to forget what it is by the time the next message comes on the screen. Let's see if I can find it. Would you ever service retro systems like the Commodore Amiga? Probably not. That's a bit outside my wheelhouse. In the early days, how'd you handle ordering parts for jobs and you didn't have it in stock? Was it an order and hope they pay until the scale tipped? Struggling this with my new biz. Well, I only did repairs that were common, so I would only do repairs for things where I knew if you didn't use it, someone else would use it, because I didn't want to deal with taking deposits, but I also didn't want to order stuff that I'd be stuck with. Criminal Minded, you got capital, I got ideas, let's talk, says Sunny Days. Do you ever work with inspection agencies in China, Asia for validating your suppliers, sourcing agents? If not, how do you do procurement and validation for your chips? I appreciate the question, but you would have to... Okay, validation for my chips is when I get the chip, I solder it onto the board, and if it works, I keep buying from you. And if the board blows up, I stop buying from you. Are there any national or local politicians that are truly pro-right to repair that we should know the name of so we can support them? Yes, but I'm very bad with names, so I can't go down a list right now. I know in the Assembly, I know that Pat Fay in New York is very pro-right to repair, and I know that there are people in Washington that are. There's Derek Stanford was pretty pro-right to repair. Marco Leos was pro-right to repair in Washington. There was... Doug something, I forget his name because I suck. Yeah, I suck at names. It's not something I could get when I'm on the treadmill. If you ask me while I'm off the treadmill, I'll be able to answer. Here's 20, because I love what you do. Do you do any work in Android phones? Only data recovery. Only data recovery. Yeah, don't send me Android phones that you want me to put back together. It's probably going to end poorly. But if you send me a phone to do data recovery, it will end very well. If you send me an Android phone for a typical repair, I'll just be honest. I'm not it. I'm not it. Add Chrisfix to your list. I emailed him a long time ago, and I don't think that this is something that he's going to be talking about. In the early days, how do you handle... Okay, yeah, I answered this. Well, I tried to only do the repairs that where I knew if I bought a part and you didn't want it, that someone else would use it. I tried to avoid that because I did not have the capital to be able to order things that I wouldn't use ever again. But I also didn't want to start doing repairs where I had to take deposits because then they're going to go somewhere else. Like, why do I have to pay a deposit when the other person has it in stock? So I just wanted to avoid that conversation altogether. So I limited the scope of repairs that I did. How about Leo Laporte? I don't know who that is, but you can email the contact@fighttorepair.org address if you want me to try reaching out to them, and I'll be happy to. Please watch Guarding Against Physical Attacks, the Xbox One story. Tony Chen, Microsoft engineer, goes through securing the Xbox. Might give you hints. Interesting. Wendover Productions is a big 3 million subs educational channel. I'm sure they'll be able to reach an audience that will be interested in Right to Repair but don't already know it. If you could email contact@righttorepair.org, contact@fighttorepair.org so that I can remember that, because I'm not going to remember it now, and in the time that it takes for me to copy and paste that, a new message will show up on the screen. Do you watch hentai? No. When I watch porn, I prefer that it not be anime. I do not want to fuck a drawing. I would want to fuck a real live person, not a drawing. It doesn't make sense. 100%. Planet funded 1,000 Windows NTs. Thank you for the Windows NT. How do you feel about the loud cars on motorbikes going around the city? Loud car, are motorbikes? Loud cars and motorbikes are different things. But thank you for the Windows NT. Reach out to Jim Hook in my Discord. He's doing a lot of work and following a lot of it in Australia. Yeah, if you're in my Discord, Bama Hut, ask Jim Hook. He's been keeping a lot of track of it. Big Pharma unlocked an infinite money glitch with COVID vaccine and boosters. Everyone is just going along with it. Seemed nuts to me. Yeah, everybody's going along with it because the work says, come on. I don't know. I can't fuck with the super anti-vax people. Again, you do you. By all means, you do you. I'm not going to ask you to be forced. I'm not for vaccine passports. I'm not for mandated vaccines. You do you. I do me. Just leave the crazy shit away from me. Toss it on BitChute. You're watching too much BitChute, my friend. You've done Urban Explorer Lite, but how about truly making your way into the interior of old buildings? That would require getting inside of them. I don't want to do breaking and entering. I like being free. There's a disappointing lack of cats. Big Clive is in the chat. Big Clive is an actual electronics person. Everybody, Big Clive is in the chat. You should visit his channel. He's actually a real electronics person, not a schmuck like me that just kind of like does cleanup on aisle 3 in a microscope. Where does he read questions from? My computer screen. Other thoughts on inflation, say, over the next 3 years? Are you seeing all the low pay now hiring posting in New York like most of the country? Yes. Inflation. I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking at Zillow and just wanting to cry more every single day. I don't know where you're supposed to go to escape inflation. I really don't. People say crypto, but crypto is a giant bubble. People say the stock market, but that's a fucking giant bubble. People say buy land or houses, but that's a giant bubble. Everything is a bubble. We have an everything bubble, as Peter Schiff would call it. And I'm definitely not buying his funds after looking at the history of them over the past 10 years either. Real men wear pink, says Nicole Valerie. Why, thank you. I appreciate that. Real men do wear pink. This is my favorite shirt, and I can't buy another one of it. And it's not in good condition anymore. So I want to buy another one of it because it actually fits me perfectly, and it looks nice, but I can't find this specific pink shirt. I got it at Uniqlo in 2016. I love this shirt. Unfortunately, Mowgli, that has happened. A seatbelt isn't experimental. Oh, God. Would you service retro systems with the Commodore Amiga? I don't know much about them, and I'm not sure. I don't know. I wouldn't want to screw it up, because it's not like I can buy you a new one. Like, I fuck up your MacBook, I could buy you a new one. I probably wouldn't fuck up your MacBook, because I know them inside and out. But, yeah, I can't buy you a new Amiga. I have never skinny dipped in the Hudson because I don't want my skin to fall off. Too much pollution in the Hudson from all the dead bodies from the 80s and 70s and 60s. Steam Deck, not Stream Deck. Oh. I don't know much about this Steam. I don't know what about the Steam Deck. I'm not a gamer. I'm sorry. I butchered that question, but you asked the wrong person. Buffett or Musk, who will win? I don't know. Musk is a dreamer, but he's also a bullshit artist. Buffett's kind of plain and boring, but he's less of a bullshit artist, and he's less entertaining. Buffett's far less entertaining. I don't know. Also, win at what? Like, when you say win at what? Here's a right to repair question. If a phone costs $10 to make, sold for $30, would you be satisfied to buy a screen for 3 times or manufacturing cost? For 3x? I don't understand the question. For the manufacturing cost of the phone or the manufacturing cost of the IC? I appreciate the 100 lightning bolts, but unfortunately I don't understand the question. Steam is making a handheld console called the Steam Deck. I don't know anything about it. I don't game. I'm sorry. I'm clueless. I appreciate it, but I don't know anything about it. Are there any countries outside the U.S. with right to repair legislation or movements that you've been tracked that seem effective? Australia is moving forward with it full steam. Europe is moving forward with it, but I don't know how much it aligns with this movement because they're advocating for things that I'm not. Like, Again, standardized charging ports, not asking for that. There's a lot of other things they're asking for, like make parts available for 10 years. I'm not asking for that. You're still hiring a tech for your store? No. Would you work for an employer that knows zero about the IT industry? I don't know anything about the IT industry. I don't classify whether I'd work for somebody based on whether or not they understand the IT industry. Whether I work for them depends on whether I believe in their vision, whether they're paying me good money, and whether I believe I'd be successful at helping them achieve their vision and feel a sense of mission and purpose while I'm on their team. YouTubers you follow. Eli the Computer Guy. Eli the Computer Guy. He's one of the few that I've subscribed to, but I never unsubscribed to. Is it just me or did $1,000 go unnoticed? That wasn't $1,000. That was 1,000 Windows NTs, and I did read it. You think fighting for right to repair is a symptom of a larger profit-driven problem and companies will find other ways to screw over consumers in the environment? I don't know. I mean, obviously it's a way to make money. But sure, there's probably other ways they could screw people over. If you're trying to lead to that whole let's get rid of the profit motive thing, no. I don't want to get rid of the profit motive in society just because certain companies are assholes with it. In a very sad way, with this COVID crisis helped the U.S. at this time, more anti-vaccine people are dying, feel like it is culling the herd. Not really. When you look at, every death is a tragedy. I have to say that because every time I don't say it, there's a, oh my God, I can't believe you said that shit in the comments. I'm not saying people dying isn't tragic. But when you look at the number of people we have in the United States, and you look at how our population just keeps trending up, and you look at the amount of people that died from COVID, it's not, it's how do I put this? When you look at the population of the United States, and you look at the amount of people that died from COVID in the United States, and you look at the population growth each year in the United States, it's not something that is going to be widely noticeable. If you're talking about culling the herd as in let's get rid of this swath of society, I'm using your words, culling the herd, that's not happening. Progress and Poverty by Henry George, I'll mail you an abridged copy, or email, audiobook, or PDF. Send it to lewis@rossmangroup.com. If you know how to spell my name, I'll get your email. What are your thoughts on Rich of Review Tech USA? Do you ever watch him? I don't watch 99% of the tech review channels because I find it boring. I want to get a job in the tech industry. I love to fix stuff, but I have no experience, not much money, and don't know what to do. Anything next? Why do you love doing what you do? So first, you have no experience. Are you good at fixing stuff, or do you love to fix stuff? That's key. If you're good at it, then getting experience should be easy. If you suck, then getting experience will be hard. So are you good at it, therefore you want to do it? Or do you love it, but you suck at it? Because I would say pursue what you're good at and forget about what you love doing. Pursue what you're good at. Because you'll love it once you're good at it and you see the effects of it. I answered that one already, I believe. Go away, you negative troll. All right, next. I posted a video with happy news just today. You don't watch it because you have a bias to the negative that you are projecting onto me. I'm going to put up a mirror for you and also get you out of my chat. South Dakota would be cheapest place to pass right to repair. Yeah, South Dakota also has like 800,000 people. There are probably more people on this block than there are in all of South Dakota. Oh, God, another one of you people. Jesus Christ. Not you, Daniel. I just read some dumbass shit in chat. I did enjoy my vacation in Florida. Brian Lewis says, I thought you were moving to Florida. Leaving New York would be the dumbest move ever. You have a good business. Now that YouTube, Google Pay would cover your rent. What? What? Have you seen my QuickBooks? What? Get the fuck out of here. You know what's dumb? Making assumptions about businesses that you've never seen the books of and never walked into. Out of here with your shit. All right. Are there any countries outside the U.S. with... Okay, I think I answered that one already. Greetings from Jackson. What's your position on e-bikes and the restriction on national forest trails? I think a lot of the restrictions on e-bikes actually make them less safe. So, for instance, here, these... YouTubers you follow. Okay, I answered that one already. So here, the limit is, I think it's like 750 watts, but the speed limit on most roads is 25 miles an hour. Now, if you have an e-bike that's 4,000 watts, you can ride in the road and you can keep up with the cars just fine. At 750 watts, you can't, because your acceleration, your 0 to 15 speed is too slow. Even if you can get to 25 miles an hour, it takes so long that the cars are going to try to go around you, and when the cars go outside the lane and go around you, they're likely to hit something or hit you, which makes them inherently unsafe. However, those e-bikes that are limited to 750 watts, while not fast enough to actually ride in the street with other cars, are still so fast that they piss off people in the bike lane. So they're bad for the bike lane because they piss off people in the bike lane, and they're bad for the streets because you can't use it as a motorcycle. So they created this stupid little Karen restriction, but it actually makes it less safe for everybody, which is why you should never be a Karen in any area of your life. I answered that one already. Yeah, so the Karening with electric bikes is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Especially those limitations where they can only be pedal assist. Pedal assist is horribly unsafe. With a throttle, I feel great. I understand when it's going to go. I can control it with my feet or with this. When I'm doing pedal assist, it's horrible. Like, I hit the pedal, I'm expecting the bike to move this much forward and goes this much forward because the motor is assisted by a pedal. I'm used to when I push this much that the bike moves this much, but now it's moving way more. It's all these restrictions that they put on e-bikes to make them street legal. In my opinion, I remove all that shit because it makes it inherently unsafe. I have not hit a single pedestrian or a single car with my bike. I did have someone smash into me because they didn't use their fucking turn signal. Luckily, I had a camera. And I did have another car smash straight into me because he went right through a red light and everybody saw it. But I don't hit people with my bike, and it's way outside the limits of what is actually legal, and I use it that way because if I were to use it the way that's actually considered legal, what would happen is I would get into way more accidents because it's just not a safe way to ride. If you're riding in a street, firstly, if you shouldn't be riding in the bike lane with other people if you have an electric bike because you're going to piss them off. They're pissed off by the fact that you're speeding by them. And also, if you're going to ride in the road, you need to be able to go as fast as the other cars in the road. So with a 2 or 4,000 watt e-bike, you can do that. With a 2 to 700 watt e-bike, you can't. So I remove all that Karen shit from any e-bike that I ride around New York City. I'm curious, and do you enjoy? I answered that. I've been curious on your thoughts on coalition building. I know it's a must for political activism, but have you found benefits in other aspects of your life or career? That's a weird question because you're talking about coalition building and benefits in other aspects of life or career. I don't understand how either of those things actually go together. Benefits for what in other aspects of my life and career? Do you mean in aspects of enjoying my life, or do you mean other aspects of my life or career that have helped coalition building? I don't mean to be disrespectful because you did give $10 to ask that question, but I fundamentally don't understand the question, so I don't know how to answer it. The hardest thing when it comes to coalition building or anything in general is to avoid culture wars. It's very, very difficult to avoid turning anything into a culture war because many people, it's kind of like a high school drama. They don't like certain politicians because they feel like they want attention, or they feel like they're looking for drama, or they feel like they don't want to take responsibility for anything, or they feel like they're virtue signaling that other people should take responsibility for things even when they don't take responsibility themselves. It's really important to understand the pulse of what people are thinking, but also to understand the pulse of the opposition or what other people will think of what it is you say, so that when you present things to people, you can present it in a way that not only speaks to your target audience, but also to people who are outside of your target audience as well, in a manner where they're going to want to listen. And that's incredibly, incredibly difficult. And I would consider this to be successful at coalition building if I'm able to get right to repair out there without it turning into a culture war. And I did enjoy my vacation in Florida. I just did not like the stress that I had the entire time, not knowing whether I would be screwed by insurance. Brian, you are okay. I'm just going to mute you now because you're being a dumbass. No, you've never logged into my channel. You've never seen my books. You've never seen my CPM. You have no idea how many people use AdBlock, and you also don't know how much money I make in my store. So no, that's just being dumb. That's just objectively being dumb. If you haven't seen, if you Google like this person's net worth and you actually believe the number that shows up on the screen, then I'm sure you also believe when you Google how tall is Louis Rossmann that I'm actually 6 foot tall. When you Google Louis Rossmann net worth, one of the results that shows up, I shit you not, Louis Rossmann is 6 feet tall. I'm 5'6". NYU freshman here. I'm writing my research essay on right to repair. When I presented to my professor in class, they were pretty shocked and had a long disc about it. I'm excited to see this development from discussion about it. That's awesome, and I'd be happy to talk to you about it. Again, Lewis at fight2repair.org. Email me. I'd love to be a part of it. Fight to repair. Have you heard of MGTOW going their own way? If so, what are your thoughts on it? Oh my. You can't ask that question when I have so many others. There's so many things on that. Okay, so there are parts of MGTOW that I understand and I agree with. As someone who grew up in a household where the entire reason that my father stayed with someone who was just very, very obviously horribly mentally ill was because he would have had to spend over $40,000 in the divorce to be able to get custody of me, which he did not have. That sucked. But at the same time, I also meet people within the MGTOW movement that they're not screwed over because of the court system and everything. They're screwed over. I think I answered that one already and just keep showing up. They're screwed over because they chose the wrong woman. They knew they were choosing the wrong woman. They had children with the wrong women. And now they're pissed off that they're actually required to support those children or deal with it. And then what they do is they discourage the next generation of men from dealing with women because they had a bad experience, because they chose the wrong women. So they assume that everybody else is going to make the bad decisions they made, and they discourage them from actually pursuing meaningful relationships with women. Those are toxic and those are garbage. However, there are a lot of points to MGTOW that I understand, agree with, and also live through. I don't mean that as a cop-out or like some sort of centrist thing. It's just there are a lot of points I agree with, but then there's also a lot of people within that movement that just seem to just kind of twist the minds of younger people, and I'm not for it. I'm worried about the future. What is a good frame of mind to follow? Why? This is the best time to live in of any time in the world. Dead serious. Like 60 years ago, no air conditioning. 100 years ago, child labor, good chance of your arm getting chopped off in a factory. 200 years ago, I don't know, like Civil War, slavery. Like 300 years ago, going to war with the British. 400 years ago, oh, you don't want to do the same job that your dad did? Off with your head. 600 years ago, go to war for the king. Like 1,000 years ago, plague, famine, religious holy war. Like, we have the internet. We have air conditioning. We have car. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of shit going on in the world right now. There's a lot of shit. Pi wins every time. There's a lot of shit going on in the world. But when you just look back through history, this is the best time of it all. It really is. This is the best time in history. And it's just going to keep getting better. What do you think will happen in New York as far as COVID restrictions once winter comes? Do you think Cuomo will enforce lockdowns again? I think he would, but I think by then people are just not going to follow it anymore. A lot of people are not even following it now. They were following it so halfway. You look like you need some air conditioning over there. I do have my air conditioner on full. I'm just a little, I don't know, my head is shining. But thank you. Yeah, like, again, with the mask mandate, half of the city, when they wear masks, they were like this. Like, they're not covering their nose. They're covering their mouth, or they have it on their chin. Businesses that are supposed to only have 4 people in them have a lot of people are just not following it, or they're doing the bare minimum. It's kind of like when they say no headphones in class, so the kid has his headphones on, but then he puts his beanie on that goes over his ears so you can't see it, but anybody with half a brain can see the wire going to his beanie. Like, that's how people have been dealing with COVID restrictions here for the past 5 or 7 months. Have you heard of Freedom Phone? I've heard of Fairphone, but not Freedom Phone, and I don't understand it from a security or non-political point of view because I don't think I've heard of that phone. I'm sorry. Love your stuff. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Mattercrafter. And subscribe to OnlyFans as long as he keeps his shirt on. Does any right to repair legislation address proprietary parts? It does. Sell them to me. I don't care if you take a standard charge strip and just tell it to communicate on a different address just so that it only works in your product. I still want to be able to buy the charge strip. Thank you, DSS. I really appreciate that you put a lot of emphasis on multivariate analysis. Today's problems require novel solutions. What do you think of Naga Siren? I always fail when I play as her in Dota. I much prefer to play as Razor. Yeah, I really do try to focus on multivariate analysis and honestly not becoming ideologically possessed and not falling into the ideological oversimplifications that people believe will solve all problems is honestly one of the hardest things to do when reading the news, when engaging in debates with people, when engaging in anything, because my brain really, really wants to go tribalistic on so many different things. And I realize that so many of the people that I meet, their brain is begging to go full tribal, I believe this, you must agree with me, this is where my ideological bent is with everything. And it's normal, and then they associate with people that think the way they do, and they watch news sources that reinforce what they already believe, so they go further down. It's really hard to avoid the ideological oversimplifications, and I'm not perfect at that. I don't even think I'm necessarily that good at it. I try, but most certainly I do. I have been sucked into them in the past, and I try to avoid them in the future. And right to repair does not apply to toys for pegging yet, because we have an agricultural right to repair bill, a medical right to repair bill, a consumer electronics right to repair bill. There is no sex toy right to repair bill. Although if you want to introduce it, BigClive.com is in the chat right now. I don't know. Was just in New York for the first time from the West Coast. Only had my life threatened twice. Cheers. Oh. It was probably by one of the crazy homeless people on the street that scream at you. They don't actually mean it. If it was a gangbanger or something, that's different, but that never happens. It was probably just some guy who's screaming at himself. He probably screams that way at everybody. No big deal. .6% of the American population died from the coronavirus. So fuck you and your vaccine. Let's see. So, United States population. Okay, United States is 328.2 million people. 328, 200. Let's see. I answered that one already. Okay. Now, how many COVID deaths, United States? Let's see what we got here. Okay, 600,000 deaths. Okay, divide that by 328,200,000. All right, multiply that by 100. So the death, no, 1.8% of the population has not, 1.6% of the American population has not died of COVID. 0.18% have died of COVID. But nice try, Brian. Also, I don't even understand what that means. So fuck you and your vaccine. I mean, if people die, why fuck you and your vaccine? Doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. So much vaccine hate. So much craziness in this chat. We're just in New York for the first time. Okay, next. You just fixed my 1989 laptop, did a bang-up job. That was probably Paul, Anel, Chris, or Dan. Or Camille. Thank them, not me. I'm just a name on the door at this point. I think South Dakota would be the cheapest place to pass right to report, paired due to huge agricultural and Republican bias, how they pass abortion bills for less than $1 million just to take it to the Supreme Court. Maybe something to look into. I was looking to get it passed in a state that has a large population of users of the consumer electronics so that it's less easy for them to make the argument that we're just not going to sell to your state anymore. But it's something to look into. I've never understood how a simple law that makes intentional component exclusivity illegal. Not full right to repair, but isn't the intentional component... I've never understood how a simple law that makes intentional component exclusivity illegal. Do you mean you never understood how a simple law doesn't make it illegal or how it does make it illegal? I'm confused. How is that even slightly controversial? I'm confused as to how it's controversial, but... I'm curious your thoughts on coalition. Okay, I answered that one, but I think I was also confused. Have you thought about setting up training in something like Skillshare? Show people how to do repair. I don't understand the point of using Skillshare. I make all these videos available for free on YouTube and nobody watches them. If I change the platform, I don't think that's going to change anything. I have a platform with 1.6 million people. 1.6 million. And if I post a board repair video, it gets 10,000 views. That's less than 1%. That's less than 1%. So I don't know how posting the exact same content on another platform is going to do anything. John Apsla here, don't repair things or it could hurt yourself. Or the environment. Buy a new iTractor Model S instead, says CivBase. Do you ever go to Barstool Sports' offices? You guys are neighbors. I had no idea they were neighbors, and I do not show up at random people's offices. That's part of being the horribly antisocial prick that I am. I don't get along with people. I don't know what gives people the idea that I do get along with people, but I really don't. I'm not the type of person that you would want to meet at a party. I'm not the type of person that you'd want to meet if you were in New York City or walking by the store. The fact that this channel has 1.6 million subscribers is that's just fucking ridiculous. It makes no sense. It's a glitch. It shouldn't happen. Like 99% of the people watching this should probably unsubscribe. It really doesn't make sense. In your opinion, how instrumental, if at all, would Steve Wozniak be in helping rights repair legislation get passed? I believe if someone like Steve Wozniak actually put all of his effort behind it, that we would be able to get it passed. I'm not even talking about financial effort, although financial effort is always appreciated to get lobbying moving forward. But what I'm talking about, no, they're not. Cats are better. But what I'm talking about is just the name itself would get it front page in every single news outlet all over the country all the time, to the point that it would be plastered on every senator and congressperson's tablet and newsfeed, and that would be an incredible step forward. But I probably screwed up my introduction to Steve Wozniak. And admittedly, going from, hey, what do you think of right to repair, to, hey, will you give me $2 million to support a ballot initiative now that you barely know my name? Probably not the best way to go about an introduction. But again, that goes back to the whole not having social skills thing, which makes me wonder why the hell people want to meet me to begin with. New York City needs you to run for office. Would you consider it? Hell no. I can't fix anything here. Again, there's no ideological oversimplification that's going to fix the problems in the city. A lot of these problems have been brewing for 30 to 50 years. A lot of the budget issues have been going on here for 30 to 50 years. I can't fix giant holes in the budget. I can't fix the fact that the giant holes in the budget are just barely hanging on by a thread based on overinflated property values that allow the city to collect inflated property taxes to just be able to barely afford to pay for everything to keep this place, duct taped together. I can't fix that. There's no fix for that. Bulldoze it and start fresh. Like, there's not like, well, if I were mayor, I would do this, that. No. If I were mayor, I would probably get strung up and hung. I would definitely get strung up. I would get Game of Thrones, just zunk, just like Eddard Stark, just zunk, zunk. My head would roll down the street if I were the mayor of this city. It would roll down the street. Because I would not be kicking the can down the road. I could tell you that much. I would not kick the can down the road. I would address all this shit head on. Every fucking problem head on. Bam, solution. Bam, solution. Bam, solution. And you know what people would do with my solutions when those solutions wound up in, I don't know, with someone losing money or losing a pension or losing a job or losing that? They'd kill me. Not touching that with a rusty spoon. Fuck that. Not taking that job. Have you ever thought of franchising your business? I have, but the moment I franchise my business, it'd probably become like a CPR, a you break, I fix, and I would never want to do that. I care about this place. I care about the experience we offer customers. I don't want to attach my name to a place that's going to be a McDonald's. I just don't have it in me to do it. And admittedly, honestly, nobody would even really be willing to pay for that, so it doesn't make sense. Like, would you pay $50,000 to be able to open a Ross, just to be able to say that I opened a Rossmann Repair Group? Probably not. Like, not only would that not even if I could find 10 people to be willing to do that, I still wouldn't be a millionaire, and I would have 10 shops that I'd have to manage and make sure they weren't fucking things up. What you want is a BBS HD motor, a Phase Runner motor controller, or a Cyclone, a BBS HD motor or a Cyclone motor, and I like the Phase Runner motor controller. But go over to ebikes.ca and see what they can do for you. ebikes.ca, tell them that I referred you. How do you think technology will augment human biology in the near future? Dude, you're asking the wrong guy, man. I had to cheat in high school to pass my chemistry regents, and I still got a 58. I have no idea. Not even close. Brain computer interface, I have no idea. Genuinely no clue. Not even close. No fucking idea. I want to come up with an answer to your question because I feel bad that you just pissed away $4.99. Not a clue. Not a clue. You care about which pizza place is best, or are you totally fine with dollar pizza? I don't like pizza. Too much carbs, not enough nutrition. I don't eat pizza. Pizza's shit. Don't eat pizza. It's high in carbs and low in nutrition. Not good for you. Please pet the cat behind you. Okay, fine. He put his little paw over my wrist. He's so cute. Thank you, Stinky Cheese. What do you think about up in New York City as far as COVID restrictions? I think I answered that one 10 minutes ago, but it showed up again. I don't think that COVID has the political power to do that. I don't think that he has the political will to do any more of that. I think that virtue signaling, I care about, if it stops even one death, I care. No, you don't. You fucking touch your assistants, you sick fuck. Go, get the fuck out of here. And you talk about destroying people. Like, fuck you. Everybody sees you for what you are. Stop pretending you're a man of the people. Fuck out of here. But mainly, I don't think he has the political will. I don't think he has the political support. I don't think the people are going to allow it to happen again. And yeah, that's that. You ever thought about contacting these commercial realtors and getting the backstory of those empty offices? Yes, I did 3 years ago, and I actually wanted to tell their story. I said, and it's people from the Democratic Socialists of America are getting elected. A lot of them don't really like the land and property owners. You have people spray painting rent is theft and all this other stuff on the Williamsburg Bridge. I want to get your story. I want to hear your story, and I'm not going to edit your story, and I'm not going to screw with your story. But a lot of people talk about these commercial-backed commercial mortgage-backed securities and how they're screwing things up. More bike videos. When I fix my bike, I screwed something up on it, and I've honestly just been lazy in fixing it. I'd like to be able to talk about this more. I'd like to be able to get your side, because nobody ever talks about your side. They just assume that you're greedy and that you guys are using these as investment instruments and screwing over ordinary people. But I want to know. Why are things actually happening? Can you give me your side? I have over 400,000 subscribers. I'm going to give you the questions beforehand, and I'm going to air everything that you say, honestly, without deceptive editing. And you can see my channel to see that that's how I do it. I didn't get a response from any of them. I reached out to over 40 of them. So if people want to say, hey, fuck the landlords or fuck the commercial landlords and realtors in the city, fine. But I tried. I was going to tell your story. Again, do I shit on them a lot? Absolutely. But do I want to hear what it is you have to say? Do I want to hear your story and give it and get it through to people? Yes, I do. And none of you responded to me, so that's on you. Hi, Lewis. Former AASB tech here. Left because I had enough of scamming folks in the name of Apple. Keep up the good work. On right to repair. Thank you, Peter. Hi from Vancouver. That's awesome. I'm glad that you did that. I hope you find your new job rewarding. But yeah, like again, a lot of people hate the rich and they hate the commercial realtors and all that. Boxers for sure. Boxers definitely. But I wanted to tell the other side of the story. Because nobody tells the other side of the story. And when I wanted to tell the other side of the story, none of them got back to me. So if people assume the worst of you in the absence of actually having the information, I don't feel bad. Because I tried. I really did. I tried. And I did a lot of research to contact and call and email the specific people that I thought would be good to be able to answer this, and I didn't get anywhere. How do you think technology will augment you in biology in the near future? I can't answer that question. That's way too confusing. How much calculus do I need to understand oscilloscope waves? What? Dude, stop asking questions that require me to have an education. Best place to start is electronics, unenlightened halfwit. Vegan scene in New York City. DS9 or TNG? Okay, the last question, no idea. Vegan scene in New York City? Yes, there is. There's a bunch of stuff. You should start with a restaurant called Blossom on 9th Avenue around 20th or 30th Street if they're still open. It's the best place that you're going to go. It's amazing. Best place to start electronics, unenlightened halfwit, Afro Tech Mods, and EEV blog. And Steel Wheels Down. Steel Wheels Down, EEV blog, Afro Tech Mods. Afro Tech Mods, EEV blog, Steel Wheels Down. Have you heard about the Center for Humane Technology? I have not. Did you see recently the U.S. government is fighting over how much water can flow from a shower? No. No, I have not heard about that at all. I feel bad because I don't have much to say in response to most of these. I'm worried the right to repair will be futile because kids are growing up not used to owning things like video games. Any idea for this problem? Let them know what things were like. Anytime they used to complain about something, tell them this is how things used to be. And then when they say, why are they not anymore? You answer them, because we put up with it. Don't put up with it. And see what they say. How do you stay focused and off of time wasters? Rewind to the beginning of the video. I make to-do lists in 5-minute increments for most of my day. And I follow it for most of my day. I have 5-minute increments from almost my entire day, and I follow it. And I take my tasks and I divide them into subtasks. And then I take those subtasks and I divide them into subtasks so that I can get 5-minute increments. So what you'll notice is that you spend a lot of your day just fucking around doing things that are not even remotely productive and allowing people to distract you. And when you do that, you'll figure it out. I support the Cuban protesters, FAOC. I haven't really followed that very much. On one hand, I've heard people say that they're screwed up because the U.S. is keeping them down, but on the other hand, some of the protesters were marching with Cuban flags. I am fairly ignorant on this situation. I'm not going to comment on something that I am not fully informed on because I'll sound like a dumbass. What are your thoughts on fourth wave feminism and toxic femininity? You're asking me a question like that, knowing that I have 40 seconds to answer it. Really? Really? I just can't. I don't even know where to start with that. You got to be specific. You really have to be specific. What do you consider to be toxic feminism? What does fourth wave feminism mean to you? Let's get into definitions. What does it mean to you? Let's get into definitions. Let's not start with some super abstract concept. It's like saying, what do you think of clouds? Just want to say I'm a huge fan, excited to see you on. Glad to find a creator really telling it as it is with seemingly little bias. I have a ton of bias. I just try to make it obvious what my bias is. Like, it depends what type of feminist you are. Are you the type of feminist that says, I want to see more people? For instance, Jessa would consider herself a feminist. She thinks more women should fix electronics. So what did she do? She told all of her friends that are around her, you should come to my shop when she had in her kitchen. I want you to work with me. I'm going to teach you how to do this. Then she put up a camera and said, I'm going to show everybody in the world how to do this. That's cool. Then you have the kind of people that walk into my shop and say, you want to buy an older one, avoid M1. I am a feminist. I notice your shop has 2 female employees and 10 male employees. That's sexist and wrong. I'm going to tell everybody not to do business with you. Like, fuck that brand of it. But, like, again, the vocal minority that are a problem often pretend to speak for the whole, and it's something to be careful of. Any opinion of VR technology? How do you think that the hardware can improve, or are there any more practical uses for it? VR is something people have been talking about for years, and nobody actually seems to care. They always say that this is the newest big... How am I supposed to answer questions when they come in this fast? Really? Are you familiar with Scott Adams' suggestions on how to persuade people? Yes, and I particularly like his idea of the talent stack. His idea of the talent stack really does explain how I could be a failure at so many things and still be successful. I like what he writes about the talent stack, and you should read his blogs about the talent stack. But a lot of people care about, like, they talk about VR as this next big thing, but nobody genuinely seems to care. Like, really, nobody seems to care. But when it comes to the other question, I've had people say, okay, you have 2 female employees and like 11 or 12 male employees. That's sexist. And then what I'll show is I hire from my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel at that point in time had 3% female viewership. So if you have 14 people and you multiply that by 0.03, which is 3%, that comes out to 0.4% of the staff, or that comes out to 0.4 people would be females. So the fact that my business has 2 female employees out of 14, that's 5 times more than 0.4, which means that women are actually, sadly, if you look at the hiring, overrepresented based on the fact that I hire from this platform. Now, why no men? Now, why is it mostly men? I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a guy, even though I do wear a pink shirt. So I looked at Jess's stats. Jess's stats at the time, that mine was 3%. Her stats were 2% female viewership, and she's a female, and she's a feminist. So again, it really depends. If you're like, you have to define things like that. You need to be specific. I'm not trying to be a troll. I live in a flat with people who are completely tribal in their politics. I've learned to keep my opinion to myself and I pretend to agree with them. Never pretend to agree, but do keep to yourself. But don't pretend to agree. Because when you start lying like that, when you're dishonest to yourself in that way by lying to other people in order to just like go along to get along, it starts to change who you are. I'm not even remotely kidding. It actually does change you. You can find ways to get out of conversations that you don't want to have because they're too long without lying to yourself. Never fucking lie to yourself. Never go along to get along. Don't do that. It destroys you. I'm saying that as someone who's done it. You can always find a way to segue in some way, shape, or form to get someone to come around or to avoid a conversation without having to lie. But again, when you say what are your thoughts on fourth wave feminism or toxic femininity? You got to be specific. I'm not trying to meme you. It's just there are many different ways to define these things. Many people have different definitions for these things. And I'm not going to come up with some oversimplistic answer to that question just to make one group of people happy. Any thoughts on chip shortages driving up costs? It sucks balls, but it's 110% expected when you shut down large portions of the world over COVID, and then you have a large push in demand afterwards as people shift their habits. More working from home, more people need to buy shit so that they can work from home because they can't pick up their computers from work and take them home. More people want to drive rather than take public transportation. More people want cars. More people want the chips that go into the cars. You combine that with the fact that the plants making this shit probably shut down for a few months, and you get a chip shortage. And that's going to take a while to run its way through. You cannot simply just turn off the economy and turn on the economy like a light switch. This is something I wish more politicians do. Economies, businesses, small businesses, large corporations, they are not a light switch. When you turn them off, when you turn it back on, it doesn't just come back on. Please make more petty videos on YouTube. I will. Just for you, I will. I found your channel a few years ago. I love your border repair videos. What are your favorite leisure activities? What's leisure? Listening to Tori Amos, Baker on Vandersteen Model 3s while closing my eyes, reclining in my recliner. Baker by Tori Amos and Vandersteen for refurbished Vandersteen speakers. Right to repair, thank you for your contribution. Thank you, console. People like you for your earnestness. You remind me of friends I had back in the days in forums and IRC. Thank you. Why are people asking about pegging? Why is this concept of getting banged in the ass by someone who puts a strap-on on still being discussed 40 minutes later? Just why? Why? Live in a flat with pure tribalists, absolute echo chamber. I think I just answered that one. Yeah, just don't agree with what other people say. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't go along to get along. There's always a way that you can phrase what it is you think, where you're not going to get into a giant argument, where you don't, but where you're not lying to yourself. Do not lie to. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You undermine yourself as a human being when you do that. And again, I'm speaking as someone who has done that. Don't do it. When you start lying to other people, it in that way, it really does start to fuck up your life. And you think you're not. You think it's something small, but it isn't. Would you marry an AI? Maybe. As long as it's smarter than whatever the fuck they have in a Tesla for autopilot. That lady tries to kill me a lot. Kill Sonny, too. You should have done this in your random channel instead of your main one. Oh, go away. I do what I want on my damn channel. Get off of my lawn, kid. Get off of my lawn. Maine Coon cat, when? I had one a long time ago, but not now. I read that one, and that sounds awesome, Peter. It looks like they're showing up on a very big delay. Thanks for what you're doing for Right to Repair. Now David Chipman, go. Thanks. What you are pushing for is also helping here in Canada. Thank you, Chaos RPG. I hope so. We need more Lewis culinary recommendations. Seasonello was legit. What else do you recommend? Oh, Seasonello's salt is amazing. That's all I got. That and Lucha Lucha, the burrito place that closed down. If anybody watching this video were the chefs at Lucha Lucha, get in touch with me. Lewis at RossmannGroup.com. I made you all an offer, and I said if this place closes that I will open a new burrito shop one block down, and I wasn't kidding. I wasn't kidding. Just so I could eat there. None of you took me seriously. And I offered to pay you all more money than what you were getting paid at Lucha Lucha 2. You remember that. You remember that. That's never going to happen again. All the people that got together to make that burrito place possible at that specific place and that particular point in time are never coming back, unfortunately. But I didn't see about the water thing. I'm going to read up on that because a bunch of people are asking. Do you think there is death or pushback against expertise in the U.S., such as in the medical field? I think a lot of people don't trust the public health officials because they don't want to admit that we live in a world where if somebody says something or somebody finds this thing, that means that you're not allowed to go to work, you're not allowed to make money, you're not allowed to see your friends, you're not allowed to jog down the street without the police stopping you. That did happen in Rhode Island. So what they do is they just reject the public health establishment entirely. They say, I don't acknowledge your authority, I don't respect you, I don't like you, I don't listen to you. And like what I do is I can just say, I listen to everything you're saying and I can respect what you're saying, but I'm also like, I'm not going to like not jog down an empty street. I'm worried the inspiration for Right to Repair. Oh, I answered that one already, I think. Was January 6th an insurrection? Are you kidding me? That's the lamest insurrection of all time. That's like they literally cleaned that up by the end of the day. That's the lamest insurrection. You had a bunch of people charging there like dumbasses. And yeah, they were being dumbasses. But you had a bunch of people charging there like dumbasses. And at the end of it, they were able to clean up. Like the daytime staff was able to clean up after them at the end of the day. If it's an insurrection, it's the lamest insurrection in the history of insurrections. Next. More swagger videos. Maybe. Do you think we could ever make computer chips in the USA again? Do you think we can decouple from the globalization of tech? No. Too far behind. Hope that you're doing well. Take care of yourself. Life is short. If we come up with the next thing, then yes. But if we're never going to catch up to people who've been doing it for 20 or 30 years, they have 20 or 30 years on us. Do you not think that they're always looking to do things cheaper? They're always looking to become more efficient. They're always looking to do better. How are we going to beat that? They have, like, think about it. So this is the way my martial arts instructor explained this to me. He said you shouldn't seek to beat your Sifu because he's been training for 20 or 30 years more than you. And if he's a good trainer, if you chose a good trainer, he's always looking to improve. So he pointed out that his trainer is his Sifu is 73 years old. And that dude he looks old. Like, he looks like he's old and out of shape. But he's a better fighter at 73 than he was at 65 because he continuously learns and makes himself better. So my instructor at 52 is never going to be better than his Sifu, who's 73, who's in worse shape because he's always getting better. So you have these people in other countries that have been building these factories, and they've been getting better and better and better and better at it, and we just have been just sitting here on our ass not doing anything with it. How are we going to do better? How are we going to beat them? It's insane. Thoughts on removing emotion from investment. Profitable companies with questionable practices versus less profitable, less questionable. Removing it. Are you talking about how do I remove emotion from investment in terms of how do I not do the whole buy high, sell low thing? Or are you talking about how do I remove emotion so I can invest in companies that will make me money while that are simultaneously companies that I would feel bad investing in? Okay, so it's a questionable practice, but what are they providing for society? Are they providing something that's useful? If they're providing something that's useful, are there any other companies that are providing that same thing in a better way? Or is it just that everybody providing that one thing does that thing bad? If you'd like to know more about Demsock goals, can I recommend checking out Warren Gunnels? He's good people. I will look. Are you concerned about U.S. debt and high-spending printing? Yes, that's why I likely make stupid investments, because I want to beat inflation, but those stupid investments wind up not actually being stupid investments, and that's a topic for another video. That's really a topic for a journal, not a video. I'm worried that we'll just completely collapse the country in the coming decades. That is not out of the cards. Do you think lockdowns are completely overdone, considering the mortality rate under 50 is less than 0.2%, generally only absence of comorbidities? Yes. How much research have you done on crypto assets, DeFi, and blockchain technology? Not a lot. When it comes to cryptocurrency, the reason that I criticize it is because it's fundamentally based on nothing. Like, at the end of the day, it's just like fiat currency, where they say the only reason this dollar means something is because we think it means something. Like, yeah, the same thing applies there. With silver, or like with nickel, okay, you use that when you make batteries. With lithium, okay, you use that for batteries for everything that we own. With land or housing, okay, like people need that to live in. With food, okay, people need that to eat. With crypto, it's just like useless. It's like fiat. It's just digital fiat to me. Except, okay, you can control the supply of it, but still, it's like the same general principle. It's just useless. What little inconvenience pisses you off every day, or week, or month? Traffic? Probably, I don't know, anxiety? Probably anxiety. Personal anxiety. Yeah, anxiety for no good reason. Had that for a long time. Thanks for your channel. Thanks for the recent coverage of what's happening, for example, in business in New York City. Thank you, Officer Jeremy. How is the collusion of government with social media platforms a sense of the public thwarted by the right to repair bill? That has nothing to do with the right to repair bill. What you're doing is you're interjecting your totally other issue into this issue. Those are totally separate issues. They have nothing to do with one another. Bunnies are not real. That's not true. Thank you for representing all of the people who simply want to tinker. Thank you. What's your opinion on weed? I don't smoke it. If you want to smoke it, you do you. I don't particularly care. I don't smoke weed because when I worked in the studio industry, all the people that seemed to be saying stupid shit or doing stupid shit were always high, so I just thought, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to be like them. But again, if you want to do it, I don't care. You do you. For me, like, everything that I think about weed is pretty much the same thing I think about liquor. If one's going to be legal, it doesn't make sense that the other is illegal, and you do you. Just do me a favor and, obviously don't drive after getting stoned or plastered. Love the ASP. Your mind is beautiful. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you, JB. Did you see Hoovie's movie today on Tesla totaling older Teslas with an OTA update? His range dropped down to 50 miles after the update. No, I didn't. But please do email me that, because I'm going to forget to watch that and comment on it if you don't. lewis@rossmanngroup.com, or just leave a comment in this video and I will check it out, but preferably an email. And please spell my name right so that I can find it. I want to watch that. I just know that the next thing that shows up on the screen, I'm going to forget it. Love your work. Hope this covers coffee. Go right to repair. Thank you. I try to avoid coffee because I'm stressed enough. I don't need caffeine. Caffeine drives me nuts. I'm starting a new business with a drone. What are your thoughts on that? Oh. Why are you starting with a drone? Start it with a human. Do you think there's a death or pushback against expertise in the U.S.? I think I answered that one. Actually, no, I half answered that one, and then I got cut off by another question. So I think a lot of people are rejecting the medical establishment because they're afraid that if the medical establishment says this, that means that, just like in Rhode Island, that when I'm jogging with my mask on down an empty block with no people outside, that the police are going to turn their sirens on and say, hey, you can't do that. So I think there's a lot of people that reject what they hear from the medical establishment because they're afraid that it will lead to a loss of their freedoms. And over the past year, we've learned that that's actually the case. So what I do is I say, okay, I hear what you're saying, but I also don't want to give up my freedom. But what I hear a lot of people doing is, I'm just going to pretend that everything you said is not true so that I have my freedom. Why don't you use arguments about cars about right to repair? I do. I actually have done about 2 or 3 car videos in the last week. It's just those videos make their way to about 1 to 2% of my channel audience because, I don't know, I'm boring, I wear a pink shirt, the algorithm, I don't know. Choose from any one of the above excuses. Do you think we could ever make computer chips in the... Okay, I answered that one. That was kind of a black pill for me. I'm not a certified mechanic repair technician, what give you, but I love fixing what's mine. Me too, Ghost Rock. The AI can peg Lewis. The YouTube AI pegs me every day, man. The donations are broken, man. I don't know. They seem to be coming through really, really fast. And faster than I can read them. I answered that one already. The YouTube AI pegs me every day. Just take a look at the amount of people that watch a board repair video to the amount of people that are subscribed. No, I'm kidding. I can't blame the AI for that. That's people. Can manufacturers be persuaded to sell chip A with modification to avoid contract restrictions? What modification? I don't even know if that would work. I don't know if that would work. I think that they would claim that it's IP or copyright infringement or trademark infringement or something like that because it shares enough in time. The QESWR backdoor allowed a hardware vendor to backdoor a lot of networks. Do you think right to repair would prevent this in the future? I don't think so. I don't think that right to repair will lessen hacking or increase hacking. Donations are broken. I'm reading them right here, so I don't know how that is. Sometimes when I poop, I'm not reading that. $15 is not enough to read that. Get out of here. Thank you for representing all the people that simply want to tinker. Thank you. You think barbershops will survive in New York? I hope so. I've been cutting my own hair now for 15 months, and in the beginning I said I was never going to go to a barbershop again, and now I look in the mirror and my God, I need to go to a barbershop. Thoughts on UBI? I don't know if a UBI is something that would bankrupt the country and encourage people to not work, or if it's something that would lead to a renaissance where people who are free from the feeling that they are going to be screwed and destitute for life are now able to follow their passion. It's really going to go one way or the other, and I'm not going to pretend that I know which way it will go. My ideological bent or oversimplification would be towards UBI being something that would wind up causing even more people to become more... letting their skills kind of... What's the word I'm looking for? Skills go by the wayside. I don't know if it would be a good... But for me to pretend that my bias is what would actually happen would just be that. It would be pretending. I can't fucking tell the future, and I don't know which way it would go. My bias would be towards if you had a UBI out there, that you're going to have a bunch of people that just don't either... don't work or don't work as... or don't work as hard as they would towards things that are genuinely productive. But it could also go the opposite way, which is somebody quits their shit job and just so happens to stumble upon something that, I don't know, cures cancer or something, or creates some computer program that actually allows, cars to self-drive themselves, unlike Elon's full self-driving beta suicide cult shit. Like something... You should watch some of the Twitter videos of the new full self-driving beta, if you don't believe me on that one. But I don't know which way it's going to go. Just because I have a bias that makes me assume that this would be the more likely thing, I have no idea how that's going to go in reality. And for me to say that I know how it's going to go in reality would be just me bullshitting you. Hello, I am not a certified mechanic or repair technician or what, but I love fixing what's mine. Thoughts on Second Amendment, firearms, and freedom. I support your right to have a firearm. I don't know how it will go in New York City because people in New York City are highly stressed all the time. They're also crazy. I think that if you're going to have a society that has firearms, that it's something that needs to be inculcated into the culture when people are young. I think that there needs to be a particular level of discipline involved in that culture. I think there needs to be a certain level of maturity in that culture. And that's why I think you have certain areas of the U.S. where they're okay with guns and certain areas where they're not okay. Like, again, when I go to certain areas, like when I go to Tennessee or Florida, I'm not afraid just because everybody has a gun. In New York City, I'd be afraid if everybody had a gun because people in New York City are fucking out of their minds. Can manufacturers be persuaded to sell a chip? I think I answered that one already. But yeah, I respect your right to having a firearm, and I respect your right to own a firearm, and I'm okay with you having a gun. I'm not one of those, like, take all the gun people, or, I'm not one of those people that says, like, fully semi-automatic or crap like that. I cringe when I hear that shit on the news like crazy. Don't make me break your kneecaps. Rossmann, what? I appreciate the $5, but I don't understand that. Yes, I did manage to get a business license. Let's see if I missed anything in this list. Does Mr. Clinton support right to repair? Shit, I did. Oh, I suck. Oh, never mind. They're just really slow. They're not broken. Does Mr. Clinton support right to repair? He does, and he used to be on a mouse pad and a t-shirt before I lost the mouse pad and the t-shirt. If a direct ballot initiative to ban all political parties and similar tools like super PACs were well-defined, would you vote to outlaw them? To ban? I wouldn't ban political parties. Because here's the thing. When you think about it, when you think about money, okay, what does money do? What does money do in terms of bribing a politician? One thing, but in terms of getting you to vote, what does money do? It allows you to buy media attention. It allows you to buy advertising. Why does it work? Because we allow ourselves to be tricked by advertising. We need to have a smarter society when it comes to voting, more so than not allowing people to invest money into political campaigns. Like, why does money in a political campaign work? Why does it work? Because the ads work on you. Why do fucking advertisements work on you? That's the question. That's a big question. Do you like Sweetgreen? Any similar places you like? One day I'd love to meet you. You're a genuine person and you're doing awesome stuff in the world. Also, everyone donate through Streamlabs. Thank you, Spencer. I don't know what Sweetgreen is, I'll be honest with you. Any similar places you also, yeah, these are 13 minutes late. Shit. Thanks for the good fight. Thank you. You saved my life with your videos. Keeping things real with people is what taught me the most. How to present a business idea to investors. I'm a simple middle-class citizen, but I think it's an intimidating way to get people to invest in you. Okay, this is not advice, but the first business loan I ever got, I got because I was angry at somebody, that they gave another person $75,000 who was a giant cokehead. And I was angry, and I went in to talk to my friend Jake in room 5 of the studio that we were in. And I got myself a bottle of Jägermeister in Southern Comfort, and I finished it. And then I went into that guy's office while his goons were there. I'm not even going to get into why he has goons, but that's a whole nother story. I don't know what that is because you're saying are A quality and not A. But A and A is the same thing, so that question makes no sense. I'm going to go back to answering this one. And I finished a bottle, and then I went in and I said, you donated this much to this. If you gave me 10%, I laid out to him why his decision made no financial sense in front of his goons. And then I said, if you gave me 10%, I would have built an empire with it. And then the next day he handed it to me and he said, now build an empire with it. I don't know. Like, that's not good advice to give because you shouldn't really give people the idea that they should get drunk to make presentations to people. I'm just saying that I did that and it just so happened to work, but it probably shouldn't have worked. Here's some soon to inflate currency and an excuse to type 69. Keep up the good fight, brother. Thank you. What kind of chair is that? This is some Amazon recliner. Let's see. Birds are not real. Birds are real. You're crazy. Thanks for your recent videos in New York City, including vacant businesses. Incredible. Cool Blue. What are your thoughts on Biden passing right to repair? He did not pass it. He issued an executive order for other people to look into it, which is a good start. It's a start. I'll take it. I'll take it. I actually tried getting in touch with the Trump campaign and other people there to try, and I pointed to a rally that he gave in October of 2016 about how tradespeople used to do lots of work here. They were bad at school, but they were amazing at fixing things, and we need to do more of that in this country. And I said, I know how to get that done. I didn't hear back in 4 years. Again, I don't give a shit about all the salt people have about Biden. I don't give a fuck about this. Oh, he's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. He won't get anything done. I tried with Trump for 4 years. I didn't get anywhere. I've been watching since before the right to repair activism, and you are a huge inspiration. Keep it up. Hardest step in your right to repair journey so far? Curious to know. The hardest step in this journey is asking people that are worth tens to hundreds of millions of dollars for money and being confident and assertive in what it is you're looking for. Because it feels like you're asking for a handout, because I am. Like I'm going to people that are worth millions of dollars and saying, give me some. And that's a weird thing to do. It definitely requires growing a set of balls that I did not have before I started doing this. Longtime watcher, wanted to thank you for your videos and advice talks. They were a main inspiration to create my business. And I run a successful online business selling my items I design. I can support my family from it. That is really awesome. I'm glad you did that. It's a good feeling, too. It's a good feeling. I'm proud of you. I know that probably sounds... What's your favorite VTuber? I don't know what the fuck VTuber is. I know what YouTube is. I don't know what VTube is. Does Clinton support the right to repair? Remper, Mr. Clinton does, and he always has. But yeah, I don't give a fuck what politician passes right to repair. I just care that they do. And I reach out to a lot of them. And people get mad in my comments saying, oh, Biden did this, blah. It's like, listen, I'm not one of those people that says, oh, there's an R next to his name or a D next to his name, so I'm not going to support it. No, I'll reach out to everybody. I'll talk to Republicans in Tennessee, Montana, Nebraska. I'll talk to Democrats and socialists in California, New York. I don't care. I'll speak to everybody. And if some people listen, some don't. Thoughts on recent lockdowns in Australia? I think lockdowns, given that we're a year and a half into this, are just so out of favor. And if this is gonna, yeah, I don't get it. If this is something that is going to, how about this? We're 15 months into this. Like we're 15 months in. I mean, if it's out there, it's out there. Like, enough with the lockdown. If we're going to be doing lockdowns 15 months after this, how's the Tesla? Ha ha, Sonny. You know. Fuck you. Sonny ruined my brakes before I went on my trip. You prick. But what was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, it started with 2 weeks to slow the spread. Like, we're what, like 70 weeks in right now? Like, you just, come on, man. Come on. Would you ever interview Rich Rebuilds? I'd be honored to. He always shows up in New York when I'm not here. I'm not reading that, Tyler, because that's a shit post. That's a shit post. That's a shit post. There's actually a lot of shit posts here. We have UBI, it's called welfare. No, that's not UBI, that's bullshit. What a lot of the welfare in this country is, okay, so you get this much, but if you actually get a job that pays this much, then you lose this, thereby incentivizing you to not put in 40 hours or all the effort to get a different type of job. There's this ladder. It's a ladder. Like, once you go, or let's say you have a job that pays this much, but you could get this much, then you lose your benefits. Like, there's benefits you get, but as you climb the ladder, you lose the benefits, which fundamentally fucks up the incentive structure for everything. There's nothing universal about welfare. There's nothing universal about it. It's not universal at all. It applies to a specific set of people. You lose specific benefits as you climb the ladder to specific places, and it makes no sense. And I can't believe I just got $15 for that. You're missing Super Chats. Check YouTube Studio. A lot of them are coming really late, Sectus. And I'm barely able to keep up with what's here. But I'm going to check. I just checked Streamlabs, and I'll check YouTube Studio in a moment. Thank you, Porsche Oscar. Apple want their product to last, right? Yeah, about that, Alex D. About that. Streamlabs donations are not popping up. They are. They're just popping up super late because the system kind of sucks. The Kiwi backdoor. Okay, I've seen that like 2 or 3 times. That's weird. I came for right to repair, and I stay for the politics and thoughts and opinions. Keep it up, Rossmann. Yeah, by the way, for those who are wondering why I'm behind in reading chat, it's because if I want to give you a real answer, it takes a minute or two, and the minute or two that I take for that winds up getting me behind. On a serious note, love your channel. Would you like an addition to your wiki for general computer repair? Absolutely. I'd like anybody who's willing to contribute to that. It's just that there's been very low number of people that have been willing to contribute to repair.wiki. Why the sheep logo? He's humble, he's honest, and he doesn't rip you off. He's a humble sheep. Lewis, no one answers questions like this. You're way too honest and hell of a guy. Don't limit yourself with the right to repair on this channel. Thank you, C-Dub. I don't know if I'm doing a good job of answering these questions. This is really just these are very complex topics, and I'm forced to answer them in 30 to 40 seconds before the next question comes up. So I'm not really doing any research on it, and I'm probably saying shit that I probably shouldn't be saying. There's nothing special about it. It's just probably how people talk at a bar to random people. It's just I'm doing it to YouTube instead of at a bar. Why does money win elections? Because ads work. Why do ads work? Because we watch them. If you hate the result of money on elections, stop watching ads. Nemo! That is exactly what I was saying. And that's awesome. You understand it. Thank you to Porsche Oscar, by the way. Any thoughts on Jordan Peterson? Another one of those questions that requires a 10-minute answer that I'm going to have 20 seconds to answer. I don't know. I don't hate him. I think I'm supposed to hate him because I live in New York and everybody here seems to dislike him, but I don't hate him. I don't look up to him as a god either, but I don't hate him. I listen to a couple of things that he has to say, and it seems to be stuff that just basically makes sense. I think that the stuff that he's saying is stuff that it should be common sense. A lot of the stuff that he says seems like it just should be common sense. You don't have to agree with somebody on everything. Like I don't agree with him when it comes to how to discipline children, for instance, but I don't throw away the bulk of someone's work or the things that do make sense that can apply to my life just because there are other things that don't. I try to take the good with the bad with most people. Alex D, no, they don't. Just because they can't keep giving you software updates does not mean that the hardware is there to last. How to keep your mind sharp and stay motivated. Don't stop doing things. I don't know. It's probably overly simplistic, but I only have 10 seconds to answer that question. Good morning from Europe. Which kitty is on your lap? This is Mr. Clinton. The way I stay motivated is just by looking at where I am now versus a few years ago and looking at the result. I try to set the bar so low that virtually anything other than complete failure and hatred and expulsion from society is a good thing. If you set the bar low enough, then anything is an accomplishment. And I work from there, and I try to build on the smallest accomplishments. Like, I replaced the backlight fuse and the board works! Oh my god, it still turns on! Like, I really do pat myself in the back for the smallest of accomplishments when I'm first starting doing something so that I can stay motivated. Most people set really high goals for themselves, and they don't accomplish those really lofty goals, and then they consider themselves failures and then get depressed. And that used to be me. I came for Right to Repair, Stephen Pollock's thoughts and opinions. Keep it up. Thank you. Playing the games right now? No. I'm actually playing the game of trying to stay on the treadmill of comments. I got to go back to YouTube Studio because somebody said I'm missing them, but I'm not sure if I'm missing them or if I'm just reading them slowly, and I can't go back to there because another comment showed up. Serious note, love your channel. Would you like an addition to your wiki for general computer repair? Absolutely. Why precisely do you think you should have the right to dictate design parameters of products developed by private businesses? I don't believe that I have the right to dictate design parameters. I would ask for a citation. Can you find a citation on this channel in the 2,000 videos I've made of one video where I've ever said that? No, you can't. You don't have a citation. What you're doing is you disagree with me or you dislike my personality, so you straw man me based on what somebody else has said. So you don't like me. So someone else said something about me, and you agreed with it, and you used it as a reason to say something bad about me without actually knowing what I believe. And that is the exact problem with modern politics and what I've said about trying to avoid culture wars and all that other crap. I get it. I'm a dislikable guy. I'm not a likable guy, but please don't put words in my mouth that I haven't said. I actually have several videos. I have 3 videos in this channel specifically stating how the right to repair that I'm advocating for is different from any right to repair person that claims that I want to make a device this thin. I want devices to have socketable chips. I demand the device have everything be modular. I have 3 videos in this channel specifically refuting the idea that I believe I have the right to dictate design parameters of any product. But feel free to continue strawmanning. Lewis, no one answers questions like this. Thank you very much, C-Dub. I really appreciate that. I think I already read that. Did you ever look into moving to Chicago? No. No. Overpriced? Check. Vacant real estate? Check. Like, almost every problem with New York City? Check. No. We're not looking to move to another version of New York City. I already live in New York City. If I wanted to stay in New York City, I'd stay in New York City. I wouldn't take the time out of my day to move to another area with all the problems in New York City. I think I already read that one. I'm also 7 minutes behind. Fuck. If repairability is important, you think there'd be a market for it without involving the force of the government. Most people don't understand it as a problem until it's too late, and also most people are not able to compete with companies that already have a market capitalization of about $1 or $2 trillion. But again, I can't take your comment seriously because you said that I said something that I didn't. You, John Wagner, said that I want private businesses I want to change the specifications of their devices, which is something I have never advocated for, and I have 3 videos specifically disavowing that in Right to Repair. You don't even understand what I advocate for, so unfortunately I can't take this as something that is in good faith. More Mr. Clinton, and Lewis, I guess. Mr. Clinton is the best we have. We want more Mr. Clinton. I agree with you. Everybody wants more Mr. Clinton. I also do agree with you that social media ruined the internet. I apologize if I seem like I'm coming off as an asshole, but it really does bother me when people put words in my mouth, because it just seems like it's being done in bad faith. There's a video that's literally 3 or 4 days old that says, let's talk about what Right to Repair means for the design of devices. And like, nobody cares. Nobody cares what you say. They care about what they think you say, so that it fits their own preconceived notions of why they should hate you. And that really just kind of explains everything that's wrong with modern politics. If you don't like someone, you will find some information, even if it's not true, that allows you to reinforce why you don't like them. If it involves putting words in their mouth, then fine, let's do some of that. I think I answered that one already. We knew it would drag on for this long. Yes. Sonny is laughing at me. Fuck you based recap. What's your opinion on various bipedal kitchen appliance? 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Yep. Another lockdown. It's been 15 months. Another lockdown. 2 weeks. 2 weeks to flatten the curve is kind of like when Elon Musk says in 2 weeks the next full self-driving beta will be out that doesn't have any glitches. I swear to Christ, those two have the exact... I swear to Christ, governments and Elon Musk have the exact same definition of 2 weeks. Any tips on how to keep... I think I answered that one already, but I gave a poor answer, but I don't have now, unfortunately. Is that one of those weighted blankets in the back of your chair? Yes. And I like it. It's not bad. You didn't even drink the water. Is it just a prop? I actually should drink some of my water. Thank you for reminding me. I've been here longer than I thought I'd be here. UBI, because I will quit working and the rest of you can support me for life. That could be what it is. That could be what it is. It could be a giant drain on the productive and a transfer of wealth from the productive to the unproductive. Or it could be the creation of a bunch of new productivity once people are freed from shit work and able to focus on what they actually enjoy. I think with the Pareto principle is you have... I already answered that straw man question. That is a total straw man bullshit question based on something I've never said. But anyway, the thing with UBI is... when you look at the Pareto principle, something like the square root of all the people involved in an activity are responsible for 50% of the productive output. So if you have 9 people working, 3 of them are doing half the work. If you have 10,000 people working, then 100 of them are doing half the work. So you don't need everybody to be productive in society with UBI. You just need this like small 1% of them. Like this 1% of them need to actually do something amazing in order for it to benefit all of society. And with UBI, maybe you get that. Maybe that 1% that's not doing a shitty job, that finds this magical breakthrough that is responsible for curing cancer or something, is really all you're going to go. And I can't pretend to know. UBI that requires extreme automation or very high taxes. Well, you're going to have to get to the automation part, I think, before you get to UBI. UBI and minimum wage cannot exist at the same time. I agree. One things I don't like is that a lot of people, or Mr. Clinton, one of the things that I don't like particularly with a lot of people say that internships are slavery, they're immoral, blah blah blah. Okay, if you have no skills, how do you suggest that if you have 0 skills whatsoever, you could either A, pay for some rip-off college or university or trade school, or B, you could work for free and exchange, get a free education. And a lot of people say that that's horrible. But if someone shows up to my store and they say, Lewis, I don't know how to solder, I don't know how to deal with customers, I don't know how to troubleshoot, I don't know anything about electronics, but I want $15 an hour, what I'm going to say is no. Like this is one Kevin Samuels video thumbnail, and it's something like this, you're average at best, and he says, I want a Gucci bag, and then on the bottom of it, it says, you average at best. Here's a grocery bag. But I mean, if someone shows up at my store and says, Louis, I can't solder. I'm very bad. I'm socially awkward. I can't deal with customers. I don't know electronics. I can't reassemble or disassemble devices. I can't do anything with you. Like the only thing that you could do, if you want me to teach you this shit from the bottom up, maybe I could find something for you to do in the store for free. And even then, it may not be worth my time to teach you everything. But that's an arrangement that works. And that's something that UBI could help support. But with minimum wage being $15 an hour and the requirement in New York City that that you either need to get college credit for an internship or minimum wage, I can't give you college credit if you're not going to college. If you're broke, you probably can't afford to go to college, so you're not in college. And I can't give you $15 an hour if you don't know how to do shit. I can't. So you need to trade something. So what you're going to trade is your time. And you see this going on across America. When you see an 80, I don't know much about Windows 11, and I really feel bad because you just gave $9.99. I'm in the middle of a rant, and I don't know how to answer your question. I'm most likely against it, and I hope that it leads to more people migrating over to Linux and more hardware manufacturers making shit for Linux so that people can move over to that and have a little bit of their freedom back. But going back to this, when you see a 90-year-old dude with a hot 20-year-old lady, there's a trade going on there. Like, there's a trade. He's probably rich. She's probably hot. When someone comes to my store, what do you think of states cutting off unextended employment benefits early? Define early. I mean, no, define early. I mean, we're in July of 2021, so what would you consider to be early? Is when someone shows up and they say, I can't deal with customers, there's nothing I could do that is of value to you. I can't turn around and say, okay, here's $15, because you're not worth $15 to me. You're not worth 10. You're not worth 5. Because you're admitting to me you don't know anything. And sometimes people will show up and they'll say, I want an internship so I can learn, and that's illegal. Under the current system, for me to have an intern that makes less than $15 an hour, even if they are useless and don't know anything, that is illegal. And to me, that's kind of weird because I learned everything I know from a free internship because when I was 17 and I don't know how to do anything, I traded my time in order to get an education back from people that otherwise would have never been worth their time it would have never been worth their time to sit down and teach me how to do all this stuff for free. So a UBI could make that worthwhile, where they're getting paid and they're now able to get an education that they otherwise would not have been able to afford through an unpaid internship. Get an S20 instead of an iPhone 12, right move. Don't get any of this shit. No, what, like, is that the one that's missing the headphone jack or the micro SD card slot? I forget. But it's probably, the phone probably too big to fit in your hand, and it's probably missing something that it should have, and it probably costs too much money. I got an S10e, and until they stop this garbage with new phones, I'm probably not going to get a new one. I still have not had time, by the way, to alt-tab back and to read some of the chats that I've missed, and I seriously doubt at this point that I'm ever going to get there because they literally show up faster than I can read them. Also, the viewer activity window in the stream chat window in YouTube is actually broken now, and it only shows me the last 2 chats. So that is some bullshit. Moving to Austin for my first job out of college. Any tips on meeting people and women in a city where I know no one? Don't ask me for tips on meeting women because I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing there. I have no luck with women. I have negative luck with women, actually. Negative luck. So just don't ask me. I'm clueless. All I could say is focus on yourself. Find something that gives you a sense of purpose. And while you're doing whatever it is that you're doing that gives you a sense of purpose, you will naturally meet people and do your best in that environment. Don't try to meet people. Try to do something that gives you a feeling of purpose. And while you're doing that, you're going to meet people as you're trying to solve problems, as you have a sense of purpose, as you're building whatever it is you're building. And as you're doing that, you're going to meet people, and that's going to be how you meet people. Don't go into this meta shit of go to a meetup just with the purpose of meeting people. Because it doesn't have a valid mission and purpose to it. No, what you want to do is you want to get an SSD, and if you don't feel like opening the machine because it's a pain in the ass, just attach it with a USB to SATA dongle in the back that you could buy from StarTech on Amazon for like $10, and install it and transfer your operating system over to that drive and boot off of that. I don't know anything about the Steam Deck. I keep getting asked about it, and because a new question shows up on screen every 20 seconds, I don't have time to research it, because in the time I'm going to research, a new question will show up and I'll have to answer it. I don't really game, so I don't really know much about the Valve Steam Deck. I'm going to Google it right now, but in Googling it, I'm probably not going to have time to check the donation that I missed, which is going to get mad at me. So I'm going to Google this as quickly as I can, but it's not really even, I don't know. It looks like it's a handheld gaming PC that lets you play games. I don't game, so it's just not really something I care about. This looks like a PSP on steroids, but I never even used the PSP because I was out of gaming by the time that came a thing. The last time I gamed was when the PlayStation 2 was popular. SC this too, but that is a knitted weighted blanket. And yes, if you do like it over other weighted blankets. I use this. I don't know where I got this from. I think my stepmom made it for me, or Erica found it or something. And I use it so that this oil crap that I put in my hair so I don't have a dry scalp doesn't get on my chair. The repair situation in Japan is bad. Could it get cracked screen of a Sharp phone fixed? Sharp makes phones? Sharp still exists? Whoa. Red pill for me. Have to send phone through mobile operator to repair. I'm sorry to hear that right to repair sucks in Japan. This donation earmarked as a treat from Mr. Clinton. Thank you. Has Eli really left YouTube? Eli has left YouTube about 30 times. He always comes back. It's kind of like dollar siding on DSLreports.com. Dollar sides always come back. Yo, the pizza here, says Guz. I don't get that. Should I invest $10,000 in myself before starting the SaaS business I've been planning to start? As opposed to what? As opposed to what? See, should I invest $10,000 in myself before... by starting the SAS service business. Yes. Invest in yourself before you invest in any sort of crypto or stock shit, for sure. But the thing is, do you believe in your business? And do you have a way to actually make money at it? Which iPhone model would you recommend based on the reliability, least stupid problems, and ease of repair? I would recommend a Moto G. You want a reliable phone? I would recommend a Moto G. Or what is the answer that the millennials give to questions like that these days? Yes? Is yes an answer? No, seriously, you're asking the wrong guy that question. I'm sorry. You had to know that you were going to get that as an answer from me. Because every iPhone is a TriStar. Oh, I plugged it into the wall the wrong way. Now my phone is dead. Like, fuck that shit. Seriously, I can't fuck with iPhones. Have you ever done programming? No. Well, yes, but I fail at it. I fail at the most basic of it. It's not for me. So with the SaaS business, so here's what I would do. Like, have you proven without putting $10K in that there's a market for it and that there's money? Is there a way for you to prove before you put $10,000 in that there is a way to make money out of it? Is there a way you could invest less than that, and then if you gauge there's interest, then put more in? I answered that question at the beginning of the stream. I would, but I'm not going to beg people. I've emailed him about 3 times. I went through and I asked you guys in an old live stream for a list of people you would want to see me talk to. I went through that list of people. Some got back to me, some didn't. I'll talk to anybody about right to repair. It doesn't matter on what political side of the spectrum they're on. It doesn't matter if I like them. It doesn't matter if I dislike. I'll talk to anybody. But I haven't heard back from him, so I probably won't. I know you worked in music studio. You have a favorite piece of gear you always like to work on or own. I don't. I'm sorry. Neve 31102 modules. Suppose those. I like those. They sound nice. Love the petty job video. Thank you. I love you. Thanks for being vegan. I actually was vegan from November of 2015 to December 15th, 2020, so I'm no longer vegan, so sorry. I gave it 5 years. Why does it hurt when I pee? See a doctor. I can't answer that question. Lack of anonymity ruined the www. Facebook did that. Yeah, in 2004, when Web 2.0 started getting pushed, remember, here's the thing, before 2004, it was almost considered dirty to give your name on the internet. On all these accounts, on all these websites, nobody gave their real name. It was seen as weird. If somebody figured out what your real name was, you were like, oh my God, I'm in danger. Remember those days? Good evening from you. This is a clip. Okay, what have I missed? Did I miss this? No. Did I miss this? No. I didn't miss that. I'm going over the Streamlabs one to see which ones I missed. Have you considered moving to Long Island? 2.2% property tax. Nope. You don't own your home if you pay 2.2% property tax. A middle-class home in Long Island, a shitbox is $600K. a decent place, like decent looking place that's like, oh, this is nice. It's like 800 to 900K. And once you're paying 800 or 900K for a house at 2.2% property tax, you owe the state $15,000 to $20,000 a year. Hell no. What's the point of owning a home when you're just renting it from the government? Like in Delaware, people act like property tax is the same everywhere. In Delaware, you can get a decent looking house and you could pay $2,000 or $3,000 a year to the state. You there? Okay, fine. I'm not paying $15,000 or $20,000 in rent. That's insane. You need to understand that I and others have not necessarily watched your videos. No bad faith intended. I stand corrected. Okay, I appreciate that. Again, all I ask is that people don't put words in my mouth. If you haven't heard me say it, but somebody else said that I said it, here's what I would ask. And I apologize if I came off like a dick, John Wagner. I really do. It's just this can trigger me when I deal with so many people who deal with me in bad faith. All I ask is that if you haven't heard me say it, then just don't assume that I said it. If somebody on Reddit said Lewis said this or Lewis thinks that, just ask me if I actually said or think that, because I often don't. We probably disagree on the whole making schematics and diagrams available. You're probably a bit more closer to the anarcho-capitalist side than I am, although I have been anarcho-curious in the past. But like schematics and diagrams and everything else available, sure. Forcing people to design things a certain way, no. And that's the rift between us and let's say European right to repair. The EU right to repair people probably do want to direct people on how they design devices. I don't. Yeah, remember how productive people say we'd be with the pandemic versus UBI? Okay, that's a bad faith comparison. That's coming from somebody that has a conservative bias that is probably going to be against UBI and more cautious when it comes to UBI. But you can't compare that. The pandemic, A, for many months, people didn't get shit in terms of benefits. B, people were anxious out of their minds they'd be economically destroyed. C, society was falling apart around us. So you can't compare that to UBI. I just like you. I want to give you money, keep the fight alive. Thank you. But I don't know why I'm likable. You can't compare that. Again, this is coming from somebody that has a political or ideological bias that's going to keep me from giving UBI a fair shake. And even you just can't do that. You can't compare the lockdown to that. People don't do well when they're stressed, and people for the past year have been stressed out of their fucking minds. And also, you have to understand, UBI is universal. It's not Shake Shack gets a PPP loan and your business gets destroyed. There's nothing that was universal about this pandemic. This is a small repayment for the best line here. I use it all the time. Don't accept the premise of assholes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for the 2 Canadian DJ Diamonds. Again, you have small businesses that were locked down and never got a loan. And then you have Shake Shack that gets a PPP loan. Like you just can't compare the pandemic to UBI. You have a lot of programs that have distributed a lot of money to a lot of people, but it was not universal in any way, shape, or form. Dare I say it, I think that if they had done UBI in the beginning of the pandemic rather than this, clusterfuck of programs and just said, listen, we're going to give every man, woman, and child in the United States $4,000 for the next month. Every man, woman, and child in the United States every man, woman, and child in the United States for the next month, stay the fuck home. Here's $6,000. Figure it out amongst yourselves. You probably could have made that work. Employees may have not gotten paid if the company couldn't afford to pay them, but the employees would have probably just taken the L because the government was giving them $6,000, right? Like again, I wouldn't be able to pay people to stay home for a long period of time because I go bankrupt. However, if all of my employees are going to get $6,000, okay, fine. Like if you had done that in the beginning, you probably would have had a lot less culture war backlash to the lockdown measures or the quarantine measures because people would have been getting paid. And when people are getting paid, they're much less likely to revolt. But you got what you got as a result of the absolute shit way everything was handled. Okay. Most of what I know and earn a living from now, what I learned through apprenticeship, college will get you ahead of everyone when everyone is in college. Well, college will not get you ahead of everyone when everything is in college. Exactly. It's the same thing with me. I learned everything I learned through apprenticeship. So I don't say that I think internship should be legal because I want slave labor. My store doesn't take interns. I don't have interns. Like, it's not like I would benefit from interns being allowed to work below minimum wage or anything like that, because even before this shit was the way it was, I didn't take interns. So it's not about me being self-interested. It's about, for the sake of my business surviving, because my business survives on salaries that are way higher than CPR, U-break, I fix across the board anyway. Thank you, Samuel Creep. The issue is that I learned a lot of what I learned through internships, and I want that to be a path for the next person. When I was 17, I had nothing to trade. I was clueless. I was arrogant. I was a jackass. I had no skill set. I had no work experience. But I want to work at the best studio in the world, and I want to learn from the best technicians in the world. And by the way, I can't afford to pay to learn. That's a shit sales pitch. It really is. And I had to trade something that it's kind of like, again, when you see the 90-year-old guy with the 20-year-old model. The 20-year-old model is broke, but she likes some money. And what she trades is she has to pretend she finds this 90-year-old wrinkled dude attractive and might actually have to, have sex with him. Ugh. But there's a trade going on there. And we allow the freedom to that trade to be made. When someone is missing something to a great deal, we allow these types of trades to be made. Let's see. David, I have a 45-minute video on that on my live channel if you are interested in a deep dive into that question. Look at the Louis Rossmann Random Live channel, David, and you will find the answer to that. Luna Mino Music. Would you be interested in a free program-style channel theme song? Like a 30-second bit in the vein of Dream Theater. Just want to support any way I can. Yes and no. It's awkward because when people offer those, I'm for it, but if it sucks, it's really hard to tell people if it sucks because they get mad because they made it. So if you don't get mad if I tell you it sucks, yes. Have you seen Viva Frey Barnes' podcast? How to get in touch. Be it Rights Repair Boone. They're very two prominent attorneys. We need you on sidebar. Email me at contact at fight2repair.org. That's contact at fight2repair.org. And remind me to send them an email because I'm going to forget the moment I end this live stream. But I would be more than happy to. I appreciate that you have... what did I say? Strong opinions and mannerisms. We need more men with the balls to stand up for something. I don't know. It's ironic that you say that while I'm reclining for something. I'm not actually... Try the Lex Friedman podcast, maybe. I have no idea how to get in touch with that dude. I don't know how to get in touch with him. But if you have a way to get in touch, yes. But yeah, I'm not standing up for anything. I'm literally reclining in a very, very comfortable lounge chair, actually. And I'm going to recline a little bit more now that you said that. I enjoy my recliner. Current spec of your e-bike. EM3 EV 14 series 9 parallel battery phase runner motor controller with a custom pit loop that I spent a lot of time on that has more proportional gain but way less integral gain. Grin is a great company, but they put way too much in the integral gain. It rips the chain. And a BBS HD motor. Lex podcast is nice, make it happen. I just remember when I was going through the list of all the people I was looking to contact, I have no idea how to contact that guy. How close is a major battery improvement? I have no idea. I don't understand that part of technology. Like, I'm not a battery engineer. Consumerism equals climate change with the Fed debt of 30% GDP. How do we keep the dollar for the base currency? That is a question I'm not qualified for. I don't know. Raise interest rates? Didn't that work? Do what they did in the early 80s. Make interest rates 18%. That'll curb inflation. That will also cause nationwide riots, death, and destruction. So there's that. Or you could look at apprenticing someone as an investment that teaching them will eventually become profitable, even if not today. So you're going to take time out of your day. You're going to take 4 to 6 hours out of your day, every single day, for 6 months to teach somebody something. With no guarantee that they will work for you, with no guarantee that they will stay, with no guarantee that they're going to go elsewhere. I don't mind teaching people stuff. I really don't. But you got to trade something. This is not going to be like this one-way street where I take time out of my day and paying customers, or I stay 3 hours late to teach you stuff, and you don't help me around the office. Like, how often do you how do you recommend cleaning a dusty motherboard? 40 psi air compressor. And again, I'm willing to put the information out for free. I put all this information out for free on YouTube. It's not my fault that 0.5% of the audience actually watches it. Fair, ill-thought compare between UBI and COVID. I appreciate that you get that. I put all the information out for free. I have a PowerPoint guide. I have a wiki with lists, with like fucking flashcard delineated lists with problem solution. I have videos that go through the how-to of everything. If you want to learn for free, you can. If you want me to take time out of my day to teach you when I could be actually living my life, or I don't know, enjoying my youth, which I missed out on a lot in my 20s, You need to make it worth my time. And the way people make it worth their time, what I did is Avatar Studios took a lot of time out of their day to say, here's how to do everything. Young person that may quit at any given time, which I did. In exchange, we need someone to help us with some cleaning and organizing. Can you do that? That was a fair deal. I was okay with that because that was a fair deal. But yeah, me having an apprentice where I'm teaching them shit 5 hours a day and they're not going to do a single thing for me because that's exploitation, like just fuck that. Fuck that. Seriously, fuck that. Like there are people that say internships are exploitation. You know what's exploitation? Walking into my store when there's a line out the door and 300 phone calls coming in a day, 300 phone calls a day from people saying, where's my done yet? Is it done yet? Where's my stuff? Is it done yet? And me not focusing on that so that I could teach you why PP342_G3hot has to come before PPBush-G3hot because you can't watch my videos to figure it out on your own. Me watching you solder to teach you how to solder and then having you say, if I ask you, can you check if the toilet paper in the bathroom has been changed? No, that's exploitation. That's such one-sided horseshit. And I'm going to get all sorts of shit from people. Internships are exploitation, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but you haven't been to one. I don't care. You can call me an asshole all you want. I don't care. When people show up at my door and say, you need to teach me this shit for free. You need to teach me this for free with no guarantee or contract that I'm going to come back, and I'm not going to contribute at all to your business's success as a way to say thank you for the fact that you're taking time away from your customers, your employees, and your personal life for me. That's entitled bullshit. Yeah, do you have internships out there where they treat people like shit? Absolutely. Do you have places out there that are intern mills where they look to treat the intern like shit and every 3 months they just get new free labor because they know that that field is popular and they want so badly to be famous or to be well known that they're willing to go through shit? They do. There's bad internships, but there's also bad interns. And to throw the idea out altogether, to just take this idea and just put it in this box of evil exploitation because some people have used it in an asshole way, I just don't accept that. I see it as an oversimplification of a complex thing, and I see it as leading to less apprenticeships. I see it as leading to more people going into more debt to go to college for 4 years and learn a bunch of shit that has nothing to do with what they want to do because they can't get an internship to get a job. They can't get an apprenticeship to learn a skill set to get a job. So they waste 4 years in college learning a bunch of shit that they don't need to know. They go into debt. They lose out on opportunity as a result of it. They lose out on a lot of opportunity as a result of putting time into learning a bunch of things that they don't need to learn to do their job. But that's not exploitation. 40K in student loan debt is an exploitation. Requiring that you take 3 years out of your life to learn things that have nothing to do with your major so that you can spend 1 year learning about what has to do with your major. That's not exploitation. When you spend 4 years going to college to actually learn a bunch of shit that has nothing to do with your job because you need a piece of paper to put on your resume to get a job, that's not exploitation. Me spending 4 hours a day teaching you board repair and at the end of it saying, can you organize that shelf in exchange? That's exploitation. But I'm not salty. I'm not salty. I'm not salty. Obviously I am. I've been on both sides of this. I had somebody who ran an intern mill who treated all the interns like shit. I had that experience when I was 17. It wasn't at Avatar Studios. It was in another studio. It was actually at the same fucking studio run by the guy that referred me to Eugene the contractor, but that's a topic for another fucking day. I think I answered that one. But I know what an intern mill is like. So I've gone out of my way to structure my business so that I'm never making people who work here feel the way I felt working at that intern mill. But at the same time, I feel like I have a fair ask of people. What I offer of people is fair in exchange for what I ask. And what I ask of people is what I feel would be fair for that studio owner to have asked of me when I was 17 in exchange for what I'm offering. All right. That's enough of me shitting on that idea. If you know exactly why you can't justify paying $15 an hour for an intern, do you see the parallel with UBI? Problem doesn't change because of scale. I think the idea there is that all the rich people are going to pay the taxes that are going to fund the $15 UBI. I think, but I don't know if the math will work out there. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't done the math to figure out how that would work out. I do believe that in general, while I think a lot of people kind of use the rich as this piñata, saying we can pay for this tax the rich, we can pay for that tax the rich, we can pay for this tax the rich. I don't think they realize that if you actually do tax the rich this amount of money, that you're not going to get enough out of it to do everything. But I will fully admit that the last time I did the math on this was 2017. So that was a long time ago. I actually wound up having this debate with somebody, and we went through the IRS shit of the amount of income, not the amount of taxes paid, but the amount of income that was reported in total. And we tried to go through the groups to figure out, okay, if you just take all this money, what could you do with it? And it wound up, but this is like a 4-year-old debate that I had, and it wound up not coming out to enough to afford something. It sucks. I will look forward to the roast. Huh? I didn't read the whole thing because I was ranting. Shit. Level you do. Right to repair in New York City. Bike rides and real estate. Random armchair rants. Keep it up. Thank you, Benjamin. Sucks. I will look forward to the roast. What's your favorite Dream Theater song or album? I like Live from 5 minutes 12 seconds. I like Scarred from 8 minutes and 15 seconds. I like Stream of Consciousness from 7 minutes and 55 seconds. I like Blind Faith from 7 minutes and 55 seconds. I like Goodnight Kiss from 4 minutes and 40 seconds. I memorize where the guitar solos and good parts start for every single song that's in my library, and I do mean every one. This is your neighbor. It's almost 2 a.m. Time to call it a night. You're not my neighbor. My neighbor is not D.E. Okay, I'm 7 minutes behind. College is exploitive. Yes. I agree. How best can those in other countries, Australia, or other industries, software coordinate with you in Right to Repair movement? Contact at fighttorepair.org. That's contact at fighttorepair.org. Also speak to Jim Hook in the Discord. He has been doing really good work with compiling and interfacing with all the people that have been dealing with Right to Repair in Australia. I honestly have really just been putting time into focusing on my own country. There's 17 states that have right to repair bills, and I'm trying to arrange lobbying strategies for all of them. It's difficult for me to focus on other countries where I don't have a presence. I'm not a voter. I'm not a taxpayer. So I'll be honest, I have not put as much time into the EU or Australia just because there's so much shit going on here in the U.S. Haha, you're still roasting him. Yes. The internship thing made me salty. It really did. I don't think everything I own needs to be smart. It's weird because the smarter it is, the less reliable it seems to be. Funny how that works. Yeah, it just drives me nuts when I hear people talk about exploitation, but they just don't constantly. It's so entitled that you expect this for free. Okay, let's put a mirror on that. Okay, you want me to sit here and teach you for 4 hours a day for 6 months? Really? 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 Okay, explain to me why I should sit here and teach you how to do this for 6 months for free, but I don't have time to go on a date with my girlfriend because I now need to organize this shelf. Because I didn't organize the shelf because I was busy teaching you. I can't live my life now because I need to organize this shelf. So I can't go on a date because I helped you with this. So I can help you, but you can't help me organize the shelf so that I can have some semblance of a life. Again, it's just selfish. There needs to be reciprocal thinking. And you have a lot of intern mills that don't give a fuck if the interns learn anything. I acknowledge that. Those exist. But I'm not throwing out the entire concept just because there have been some abuses of it. Because I believe in it. Because I'm a byproduct of that. I'm a byproduct of that system. And I don't think I would have not survived college. I couldn't pass chemistry. I found you a while back when you first collabed with Linus. I'm glad to have found you and support everything you do. Thank you, Javis Flip Gaming. I'm a product of that system. And that system worked for me. Some of it didn't work for me, but a lot of it did work for me. And I can't throw out the parts of it that did work for me because some of it did, because some don't. The case you presented is fair about interns. I also think seniors in college not being paid for programming is BS. No skill, no money. Some skill, some money. Yes. I want to shout out my friend Alex's channel, W7HU Alex. He runs a radio station, is broadcasting to the Cubans, and is communicating with them. If anybody's interested in broadcasting to the Cubans, communicating with them, I guess check out that channel. I don't know anything about it. I've never seen it. I've never clicked it. I have no idea what's on it. I don't endorse it, but Check it out. Did you use a handle multimeter when you started? Yes, I did. Holy shit, it's 2 in the morning. Wow, this went on for a while. 2 hours and 33 minutes. It's kind of awkward, James Potter, because I'm an awkward person. The Moto G is a good phone, Gus. I really do. I did enjoy my Moto G. The one thing that I didn't like about it very much is that the camera on it was garbage, and I do use my phone for YouTube live streams from time to time and just for content and videos, so I needed something a little... If it was for me, I wouldn't care, but since I do YouTube in some professional context, it doesn't matter. Ryan, I failed. I was getting trolled. So in terms of they said, well, if you can get me this, I'll make a decision yes or no. And then it was, okay, if you can get me this new information, I'll make a decision yes or no. And then that turned into, okay, I didn't ask them to give me a yes or a no. I didn't say, I need you to say yes. What I said is, once I give you this information, can I get a commitment that you either agree or that you either commit to a grant or don't? And they broke that deal and never committed. So I eventually just gave up because I wasn't getting anywhere with that. So I'm moving forward with my original plan. Thank you for everything you're doing for Right to Repair. I used to technical support, and it was soul-killing telling people that because they were out of warranty, we couldn't fix the device. It does suck. Yeah, so I'm focusing less on ballot initiative, but I'm focusing more on traditional lobbying, and I'm making a lot of headway in one state. I don't want to say which state it is because I don't want them to start focusing on it just yet. Are young people lazy now? Just boomers say. No. No, I don't find young people to be lazy. I find a generation of people that when minimum wage was $3 an hour and houses were $20,000, calling people in a generation where houses are where minimum wage is $15 an hour and houses are $800,000, calling us lazy. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. Get out of here. No. But I also don't think it's that simple. Again, as boomers, do boomers say that, or do the boomers that you know say that? Are all boomers like that, or is it just the boomers that you're listening to that say that? This is why I get into definitions a lot, because I refuse to accept the premise that an entire generation thinks the same way. I refuse to accept that an entire generation thinks the exact same way. The camera sucked in the G7 that I had. It had zero stabilization whatsoever. It was bad. But again, it was a $140 phone. You can't bitch about a $140 phone. It's amazing. And again, if it was just for me, I wouldn't care. But since I use it for YouTube stuff from time to time, I have to care. Someone say I follow your work for a decade. Outstanding morals and work ethics. Thanks for awesome knowledge. Thank you very much. Let's play MTB. Oh boy. 205 and the questions still keep coming in. I don't know what to say, but thanks. Your enthusiasm for tech repair by proxy spread my interest in digital rights and privacy. Thank you. Why would taxing the rich do any good when you don't make them pay their taxes now? Most billionaires pay zero or close to it. Depends on how they pay zero. Because there's some tricky language with regards to it. There is tricky language with regards to how they pay zero in taxes. Like when some say they paid zero in corporate tax. Well, yeah, because they reported no profit because they reinvested it all back into their business. But then there's also just, hiding money in particular ways that probably actually are illegal. And most people don't make a distinction. They take on the ideological oversimplification of make them pay. But, okay, what are they not paying? What specifically are they not paying? What specifically are they avoiding? And then we can get into the specifics of, okay, how to create policy that gets around it. What I'm worried about is making policy that winds up affecting normal people at the same rate that it affects them. Like shit where they say, let's say, a tax on unrealized capital gains, that scares the fuck out of me. Because like if I run my business and each year my business gets bigger, but I haven't cashed out, and then my business fails, do I have to pay a tax each year on my business improving, but then not get that money back if my business fails? Sam Cedar earlier this week said on his show that he was looking for someone to discuss right to repair because of the Biden order. Yes, I received an email from him, and I'm working on something for early August. I'd be honored to be on a show. Again, I'll show up at anybody's show. I'll show up on Sam Cedar. I'll show up on Tim Pool. I'll show up on Ben Shapiro. I'll show up on Kyle Kalitsky. I don't care. I'll show up on anybody who wants to talk about it. I got an email from them earlier today, and I responded very quickly, and I'm more than happy to set up a time to be on that show. Maybe they'll learn something. Maybe I'll learn something that will help me be a better advocate for the issue. I'm really open to having a discussion with anybody. I enjoy repairing electronics, and I'm currently working in the IT field. Would diving fully into electronic repair be a good move? Do you enjoy it, or are you good at it? That goes back to the question I asked somebody else earlier. How you go about it is you put up an ad on Craigslist, or you go to every restaurant and shopping center in town and you put up little signs that say that you do it. But again, do you enjoy it, or are you good at it? Make sure that if you're going to be diving into a different job, that it's not just I like this, but that you're good at it. Some of the biggest mistakes in life is that I went for jobs where I enjoyed it rather than going for what I'm good at. I remember telling my dad when I wanted to become a therapist or a recording engineer, I said, like, this is so teenage, edgy, stupid crap, but I said I'd rather kill myself than fix computers for a living. I said that. I'd rather kill myself than fix computers or electronics for a living. I told my dad that when I was 16 years old. I suck at being an audio engineer. I'm not a musician. I'm not a producer. It makes me a particularly horrible recording engineer because I'm not a musician or a producer. New name for your viewers, interns. Ha. Superman, they're not concrete at all. I don't make plans to move there. I made plans to check out other parts of the country to see what they're like, and I have a lot of states to check out other than Florida. But I forget what I was talking about before that. What was I talking about before that? Oh, yeah, that thing. Yeah, I mean, but this is something that I didn't particularly enjoy in the beginning, but I'm good at it. Because I'm good at it, I was able to become one of the best at it. Because I was very good at it, I was able to teach other people how to make money doing this and how to save money doing this, which makes other people happy. Making other people happy, saving other people money, makes them react in a happy way. Seeing other people react in a happy way makes me happy. So now I enjoy something that when I was 17 or 16, I told my dad I'd rather kill myself than do. Thing is, you'll enjoy doing something once you're good at it, because the status that you gain within society and the look that you could put on somebody's face when you're able to do something well, even if it's just even if it's like getting shit out of pipes that were otherwise clogged just so that people can take a shit again. When you see the look on people's face, when you're able to improve their day, when you're able to make their life better, it doesn't matter if you think you would enjoy something, you will. Did Steve Wozniak make a video response to me? Because I posted his video and then I responded to it, but I don't think he ever posted a follow-up to that. I think you may be looking at them in the wrong order. What music do you like? Alice in Chains? Dream Theater? Bach? The way you play around premise about any conversation, you should probably start coaching about GRE SAT reading section. I don't understand that statement, unfortunately. What's the GRA SAT? The way you play around premise about any conversation. I'm a little confused there. But Lizzie, that question is way too broad. You need to ask a more specific question. Teresa, you're not my mom or my dad. It's 2021, so I might as well. I live in New York City and wanted to cover the rent prices in New York City. Mainly how it feels to be young and everything be so expensive. Is that something you think people would want to watch a vlog of? 100% Fizzy. Dude, people, listen, I have a channel about electronics repair. I post electronics repair, no one gives a fuck. 8,000 people watch. I post a video going, look at this expensive place to rent. 500,000 people watch. Absolutely. If you live in New York City and you want to cover the rent prices in New York City, what you get for the rent prices in New York City, how the landlords are in New York City, I think that you would be very successful, and that's definitely something that a lot of people are interested in. They're most certainly more interested in that than they are hearing me talk about electronics repair. So I wish you the best of luck, Fizzy. I think you'd have some success on that. Okay, I really do got to get the fuck out of here. I got to get the fuck out of here. It's 2:30 in the morning, 2:11 in the morning. It is 2:11 in the morning. What am I still doing here? Did I miss anybody's questions? What mail server would you recommend? Dude, I'm not a sysadmin. I don't know. I don't have any idea. I have no clue. Light TPD? Well, that's an HTTPD server. VSFTPD? That's an FTP server. Use VSFTPD. You're asking the wrong dude, man. I clean corrosion on motherboards. I clean corrosion off motherboards. All right, I got to get out of here. It's late, man. This has been fun. I'm going to try to make time to do this a little bit more often. I kind of miss these back and forths. They used to be fun. Just joined the stream. Lewis is talking about suicide. Love you. You have any tips for dealing with stress? You have a lot going on. Is it hard? I do. And one of the things that helps me when I'm dealing with stress is I set out a little tree for myself. If I find my ID, I will go on my trip. If I do not find my ID, I will not go on my trip, and I will find a way to enjoy myself here. If I manage to succeed in this thing in business, then I will go forward. If I fail with this business idea, then I will figure out a way to chop this business up so that I make less money, or so that it can survive with making less money, or I'll find something else to do. If I get through this particular argument, the relationship will move forward. If it doesn't, then I will be alone, and I will have to find a new relationship. If I, like, instead of going, I have to do this. This has to work. I have to make them understand. I have to make her understand. I have to get them to see that I should have this job. I need to get this job. No, you don't. You don't need any shit. If the interview goes well, I will get hired. If the interview does not go well, I will ask my friend if I could sleep on his couch. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, it's easier said than done. It's really easier said than done. I'm not good at managing stress, and I got a video about why I don't take vacations on Lewis Rossmann Random Live. I'll put a link to my live channel in the description down below. It has all the crap that I just really is probably too low quality to post on my main channel. But there's one video here. It's about a month and a half old. It says an embarrassing reason that I don't vacation, and I am not really good at handling stress. I think I may just make it look like I'm good at handling stress. I'm not. There's a lot of bad decisions I've made over the past 13 years, and if I hadn't made them, I'd probably be a lot more successful, and a lot of those bad decisions gave me a lot of gray hairs. A lot of them I can't even really discuss in public, but there's a lot of stupid shit that I've done. I'm not very good at handling stress. Thanks for being inspiration. I'm currently learning the basics of iPhone board repair currently. Give pulls. Give pulls? Pulls? I give you pulls. Let's see. Did I miss anything? Shit, did I miss anything? Probably missed something. Can you end the stream and go to sleep before you lose your mind? I'm sleepy. I'm tired. I want to go home. E.T. phone home. E.T. phone home. All right. See you all later. Bye-bye. Oh, shit. One good one. Ray Quaza. Run a video game repair shop in Alaska. I'd love to contribute to your wiki. Would you be interested? Yes. Email me. contact@fightsrepair.org. I'm not going to answer now because I'm going to sleep, but I'm going to eat a little bit more of my leftovers from dinner and then go to sleep. But Dongleberry because it's YouTube. And you're here with him, so maybe you're not really that far behind. I'm here with him, so I'm definitely not that far behind. It's YouTube. How do you feel about finger trackballs? I love fingering my trackball. My trackball loves being fingered too. It's a Logitech. Okay, I really got to get out of here. It's late. I'm losing my mind. See y'all later. Bye-bye.